All right, everybody, sports fans, movie fans, boring review fans, welcome to our live stream to commemorate and to celebrate, or whatever the word is, our 20,000 subscriber mark. We haven't hit it yet. We're a few hundred behind, but we are going to hit it by next week. And this was the best time for us to get together for a live stream. It's been way too long since our last live stream. Nick here.
Gabe. I already said what's up in the chat. We got Lauren, Abe, of course. What's up? What's up? AS, Ariva, Arav, Tariq. So a couple people in there so far. What's going on, Boring Review Nation? It's nice and early for us, so it means it's the end of the night for you guys. Oh my. Let's see if we're not too boring and don't put them to sleep.
Not just that, but I myself just woke about 30 minutes ago, so there's probably still some grogginess in these eyes or whatever. So hopefully we will be able to get past that. But more and more people are joining in now. The comment sections are already rocking and rolling. We let's start off with just kind of a state of the channel. It kind of seems like that's what everyone's doing in their different states and countries or whatever. The Waz Cup is back. I just want to say that Born Reviews is still up and running and good to go. We are we're slowing down some of the videos, like I've mentioned in some of our last videos, just because there's a lot of copyright stuff going on right now. It seems like with people out of work and people getting YouTube as a source of income, any video creators are just looking and scouring the YouTube web for any videos that may contain some of their content. And even though there's fair use rules and there's protections in place, and we feel that we have followed those protections and those rules, the law, there's not much you can do about the copyright claims. Copyright strikes you can do some stuff about, but then there's just a whole bunch of nonsense with that. So we're trying to make sure all of our videos meet all those guidelines. So putting out one a day is really the best thing for us. So I just want to kind of get that message out there that if you're seeing fewer videos, that's the reason why. But we'll still be producing videos. If for whatever reason you see a day where a video was not dropped by Born Reviews, that's because of some kind of internet connection issue. My internet was down a few days ago for about 4 hours, and I was like, oh, I guess no video today. But we were able to get it posted after. So just keep that in mind. We already got our first super sticker here by Shatij. Thanks so much, buddy, for purchasing that sticker and for supporting us. But Gabe, say hi to the folks. Tell them what you want to tell them.
Thank you so much, Shatij. Much appreciated. I figured by just me being on the channel, they would know, like, look, this should not be a copyright issue because there's no way I could create videos. Let's be honest. I do not have that. That's not in my skill set. I mean, maybe I should wear a shirt with a disclaimer. Okay, we do not own the content. Okay, I was not at what was the name of that the famous cricket field from the test. Oh, I can't remember. He says it's hollow ground to play on here.
Lords.
Exactly. I was not at Lord's filming it. All right, that's not my content. Obviously, come on, really? You got to be kidding me. But it is what it is. I did want to say at 8:26, Rajal mentioned about you doing a review. It says Mark, so I'm assuming it's Nick. I look like a Mark. Okay. Mark is not a Hispanic name, but it says, please review the lunchbox. You and Jodi actually reviewed the lunchbox already. And it's on our channel. Go ahead and check that out. It's one of the few romantic comedies that I'll stomach. It's not really a romantic comedy, right, Nick? It's more of like a romantic drama. But my boy Nawaz is in it. So I'm like, we're good to go with that. But say boss gamer.
Yeah, the lunchbox was amazing.
What's up, Jodi?
Hey.
Yeah, no, the lunchbox was really good. It's got Nawaz, like you mentioned. It's got Irfan Khan. We definitely need to pay tribute to Irfan Khan by watching more of his movies. We'll definitely be getting that down the pike. We are going to review in a day or two Dewar. We're really excited about that. We got Dewar. Thanks, and we'll mention this in the video, but thanks to Daniel and Gian, the YouTube channel, they have allowed us to watch that film with subtitles, and so we were able to make that happen so that we can get the review. That'll be coming very shortly. And then, yeah, we got to get to some Irfan Khan and also Rishi Kapoor type films because they both passed away recently. Super sad. We can feel it on this end of the world that news really affected India and other huge fans of Irfan Khan. So we'll be checking out some other things, but we do have a Lunchbox review on the channel. Me and Gabe gave an Ungreasy Medium review for another one of his films on the channel. And, you know, it's just the beginning. Me and my kids, we were watching Jurassic World, not because Irfan Khan's passing away, because my kids love that movie. And so I made sure I mentioned to them that's Irfan Khan, and this guy unfortunately passed away, legend in Indian movies and whatnot. But, you know, we got some comments here, Gabe, some love for saying that you're their favorite on the channel. I absolutely love that. That makes me a genius for having him on the channel. It was all my idea. So you all are welcome.
It's the only thing that keeps me employed, guys. It's the only thing that keeps me employed. If not, that's one of the reasons we were late this morning to get on our channel, because I'm the guy that's always late on set. Nick's like, come on, I can't work under these conditions. But he knows I got a small little contingent of Boring Review Nation fans out there. But no, thanks for the love, guys. We really, really do appreciate it. And, you know, we just try to have fun. We all have our Sup Movie Community College is on. What's up, guys? You know, we all have our Jodi specifically. She has fans as well. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, man, definitely. Where is it? I'm just going through the comments as well. Yeah, you know, they were just mentioning that it's called. We have to check it out. Cricket Fever Mumbai, which is on Netflix, and it's a cricket series about India. So we'll definitely have to check that out. I'm just finishing up the test. That review is probably going to be coming in the next day or so. Nick already did a review for the test, but it was so popular and so well received, and a lot of people were like, Gabe, you got to watch it. I did watch it. I remember you mentioned on the video we recorded, I think yesterday, that my favorite characters so far, my favorite players, I should say, on the test, because these are real players, are Uzi from the Australian national team and Virat Kohli from the Indian team. You know, they got that chip on their shoulders, man. They got that attitude, and I love it. I absolutely love it. You learn a lot. You definitely learn a lot about the game just watching it. And yeah, we're definitely going to go ahead and do that. I did see that on cricket, there's also, on Netflix, there's also this show like Cricket Explained or something like that. We're going to check that out as well. But, you know, the viewing list grows longer and longer, and I wish I could just dominate the TV all day long. But then the wife, Mrs. Gaitonde, well. Mrs. Gaitonde will not be happy, especially since we've got a house of kids, 4 kids. We have to keep entertained all day long. It's insane. You know what? You don't realize how much kids eat until they're home all day long. And I'm a teacher, so I should know, you know what I mean? But they're at school. But especially during the summer, you know, you figure you're always out. You're taking them to see the grandparents, see family. You're out of the house. You don't really realize it. But when you're just home all day long, bro, I sat down in the living room, and within the span of maybe 2 hours, matter of fact, where I was finishing up The Legend of Bhagat Singh, and in that time, what's that, 2.5 hour movie, 3 hour movie? My son was in the refrigerator 4 times. This is my 16-year-old, 4 times, bro. He's like, I'm like, bro, what are you kidding me? Did you not find you let out, you know, what are you refrigerating the whole house? Did you not find what you were looking for the first 3 times? And he looked at me, he's like, are you counting how much I'm eating? I was like, yeah, I am, bro. If, you know, things get ugly and the food chain breaks down, we're going to have to start rationing. My man has no idea what rationing means, bro. 16-year-olds, dude, it's like all they do is eat, sleep, and play Call of Duty.
I'll never forget when I was hanging out at your house and I brought a thing of brownies. It wasn't too big. It was like 9x9 or something like that from the store. I brought it over because he was gonna, watch my kids for a short amount of time as a thank you. And you told me that, man, that he killed it off all by himself. And he was like, "Hey, man, those were good. Any more brownies left?" You're like, "No, you ate them all, dude."
He ate the whole pan. Like, bro, he bought it, yeah, as a thank you, but we might have liked a brownie, and it was like one of those, bigger pans. It wasn't like it was a small little bag or individual. It was at least a family size pan, man, and he destroyed it. Oh, dude, it's bad. Wait till, because your youngest son is still 10, so I mean, not your oldest son is still 10, but wait until they get older and bigger than you, and they get the big piece of chicken, and it's like, are you kidding me? I work here. I pay bills, bro. Just wait.
It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. You say the big thing of chicken. A few things. First of all, we got a question here from Arav. Arav is an awesome patron and viewer. Arav asked, "How old are your kids, Nick?" My kids are 11, 9, and 6. Gabe, why don't you go ahead and tell them how old your kids are?
Well, my oldest is 21. He turned 21. J-Man. Actually, no, sorry. He just turned 20 in January. See, I'm dating myself here. He just turned 20 in January. He doesn't live here. My second oldest is 16, Trey. Then we have Leia. She's gonna be 14. Oh God, she's gonna be 14, bro. Teenage daughter. This is a shirt I'm gonna buy. I'm supporting somebody out there. I saw it on the internet that says something to the effect of "Who needs a dog?" or "Who needs a gun?" You know how it says beware, forget the dog, beware of owner. Okay, who needs a dog or a gun? I've got an angry teenage daughter. I have to get that shirt. Because I'm telling you, it's true fear. You don't know fear until you have an angry teenage daughter. But Alea, she's about to turn 14 in May 16th. Then we have Aiden. Aiden is wow. Yo, he's your son's age. He's 10. He's about to be 11. And Alex just turned 9. So, yep, that's the age of the kids. Trying to keep up with the chat here.
So, I just want to make an announcement right now. I guess it's going to happen. We'll make sure more details, but more than likely next week, same bat time, same bat channel, we'll have Movie Community College helping us and joining us on a stream, or we'll probably join them on a stream. They have such a big audience, but that's pretty awesome. So look out for that. We got your big fan right here. One of your biggest fans, Mr. Gabe, says, "What kind of movies do you like the most?"
Oh man, that's pretty easy. I love comic book films. I absolutely love comic book films. I grew up watching comic books. Or not watching comic books, but reading comic books. In New York City, I grew up in the Bronx in a really rough area, so my mom really didn't let us out. And there was one TV in the house. Like, that was back in the day. Like, now I got like 5 TVs in this place. Back in the day, it was one TV in the house, so you pretty much watch whatever your parents watch. All right, I was the remote. Gabe, go change the channel. Remember that? But yeah, I love comic book films. But outside of the comic book genre, if I were thinking about my next favorite, I love horror. There's not enough good horror movies today, but I love horror. One of the better horror movies I saw last year was Dr. Sleep. It too wasn't that bad. I still keep saying that Brightburn is awesome. It's horror and well, it's a horror / comic book movie, so that's pretty good. And actually, somebody else was talking about Brightburn the other day. They had it like in their top maybe 20 movies they saw in 2019. So I was happy somebody else gave it some love. I'm sorry?
Your new best friend right there. That's your new best friend right there.
Jodi's like, no horror, you know me, I love it. And what's funny is Savannah refuses. She hates horror. So yeah, I normally watch those on my own or with my kids. I went to go see It 2 at the movie theater with my daughter and my son, and 2 teenagers, and they were in there the whole time. Like, I'm jumping a whole bunch. And Trey's even like, oh man, and my daughter's like laughing through it. I'm like, oh man, that's just true horror. Evil.
Yeah, you love the crime movies too. I'm surprised you didn't mention those, like The Godfather and Goodfellas or whatever. You love those kind of movies.
Yeah, the crime movies, Goodfellas, man, Casino. But those are just the movies that I grew up with in the late 80s, early 90s. Those were the most popular films. But if I had to say what my opinion is, it would be horror and comic book films. Did we like It Chapter 2? I think we did a review on It Chapter 2 on the channel. It Chapter 2, put it in a quick nutshell, it was great. I love some of the performances. Bill Skarsgård was really, really good. I can't. Professor X. What's Professor X's name? Nick.
James McAvoy.
James McAvoy still continues to be one of my favorite American actors. He is super. He actually, I think he's British, but he's actually super talented, man. If you've ever seen him in Split, he was amazing in Split. He was amazing in Glass. He has so much range, but it wasn't as good as It Chapter 1. And I think that the way that it was defeated was a little silly, you know what I mean? So that brought it down a little bit for me, but it was still a good film. I enjoyed it. I'd give it a solid B, maybe a B minus.
Yeah, I never watched Chapter 2. Chapter 1, I was just not that impressed with. I know it got a lot of love and it got a lot of fanfare. I grew up watching the original miniseries version of the movies. That came out in 1990 or something like that on TV, then DVD. I grew up watching that. I love that iteration of it. It's campy. It's not as good special effects as the newest one, but I still love it. You got Bill, what's his name? Bill Curry or something like that, the guy who's in other movies. But when I watched the first one, Chapter 1, I thought that it was just lacking in a bunch of areas, and I thought Bill Skarsgård was awesome as It the Clown. He was fantastic, but the rest of it was just kind of like, it was kind of going through the motions. And so I didn't really have too much interest watching the second one. And then there was a lot of bad reviews for the second one. So I just never got around to checking that one out myself. But I personally love all types of movies. Doesn't matter what the genre is. I'll check it out. I know Gabe's got a hatred for romantic comedies and romance films. I love them. I love all types of films. I think crime might be one of my least favorite genres, but some of the ones I've watched and loved would obviously be Goodfellas, Casino, Godfather. The first two, the third Godfather was just okay for me. But I love Westerns. You know, you're talking about Tombstone, Wyatt Earp. You're talking about Unforgiven. Your 3:10 to Yuma was actually really, really good. If you guys have checked that out, I got to check that movie out. That one's really good. Westerns are fantastic. And so that's why Mandalorian was so great for me, because I love the Westerns, and that was like a Star Wars space Western type aspect of show. And it was super awesome. One of our audience members and someone that follows us on Instagram had mentioned, I think it was Yash actually was mentioning that he was watching Mandalorian because of our trailer reaction. So that's super cool. You guys check out Mandalorian if you have Disney Plus. It's super awesome.
Yeah, it is really good. It is really good. Nick and Gabe and your views. Oh, I missed that one. I went out too quick. Interviews.
This one right here.
What is the difference between Bollywood and Hollywood movies? Okay.
That's a great question right there.
That is a really good question. You want to take it on first? You want me to tackle it? My opinion at least?
Yeah, I'll go first because I know you'll be taking like at least 25 minutes. So, you're always going to get the honest opinion here on Boring Reviews. And I always say that because I kind of preface that in case I might say somewhere, put my foot in my mouth. Bollywood movies and Hollywood movies, they're different in a few ways. First of all, let's talk about over time. So film has progressed over time, and in Hollywood there was golden ages in the 60s and even in the 30s. If you're into those movies, I'm not really into, but in the 60s and the 50s there was a golden age, and then the 70s in film for me wasn't really my favorite decade. The 80s had kind of its own weird style of film that was okay, and then you had the 90s, and it's progressed to what it is right now, to where, in my opinion, we have the best types of films in Hollywood in the last 10 or so years, with everything just being top notch. With Bollywood, from the few that I've seen from those decades, they had a progression as well. And it seemed to me like in the 90s and in the maybe the late 80s, some of those films were way behind the quality of film, the ones I've seen that were in Hollywood. But they've closed the gap to where you watch the films right now from Bollywood, from Indian cinema. You watch the films from the last 5 or 6 years, and they are right there with the Hollywood films as far as quality. Maybe some of them even better. They've really progressed quite quickly, in my opinion. With Bollywood, the biggest difference is the music. You have music videos in the movies, which I'm used to now, but it took me some getting used to at first. With Hollywood, you don't have music videos in movies. The only one I can think of was in Aladdin, the one that came out last year, where she sang that song Speechless, which is still one of my favorite songs. I'm watching that, and I watched that before we got into Indian films, and I'm like, why is there a music video in the middle of this movie? It was very, very odd, but it worked really, really well. That is the hugest difference with Hollywood and Bollywood. Hollywood uses their music as far as the score goes, as far as the soundtrack. They'll use pop songs or rock songs in different parts to accentuate the emotions, but it won't cut away and have an entire dance number set aside for that, unless, of course, we're talking about a musical. Musicals do that. Disney movies do that. And so that's where you have some similarities. As far as Bollywood films go, the cool thing about Bollywood and then all the other industries in India is you have their own different style of film. Malayalam, Telugu, Kannada, Bollywood, they all have their different styles and different genres in their own self. And so that's cool to see the diversity in films when it's Hollywood. And, film can be made in England and we still consider it Hollywood, even though it's a British made film. Most of those films, the genres are different, but the style is very similar. So that's my take on the differences. I'm more used to Hollywood films. I'm more used to the sequel element where each sequel has the same characters and now there's bigger stakes. Bollywood films, they don't follow that sequel element. They have they have sequels with the same actors, but different characters, different storylines. That's a big difference. But that's my take. What do you think, Mr. Gabe?
I think you hit pretty much most of the points I was going to hit on the head. I think using the movie Aladdin, for instance, is a really good example of where Hollywood may have better CGI, for instance, right? And visual effects. I think Bollywood films, Indian films have better practical effects. Like we were talking about how the outfits, for instance, in Aladdin did not look authentic. And this is Disney. This is one of the biggest studios, all right? These people they print their own money. And they look cheesy compared to what was that other film we saw? About the princess. Remember, was it
Padmavat?
Padmavat. There we go. Padmavat, right? You compare those to the outfits and just those two, the set pieces, and India or Bollywood definitely has better attention to detail from that perspective. But again, CGI is better in Hollywood films, I should say. Practical effects, I would say more India. One of the things that I really, and maybe this is because it's not really Bollywood. I think it's Telugu films. That's who made what's the name of that film? Was it Tumbad? Is Tumbad Telugu, Nick?
I don't know. That'd be a question for our audience. Someone asked us to do a review on Tumbad. We have a review on there, so check that out. I do not know if Tumbad is Tamil or Telugu or Bollywood. I'm not sure.
Well, here's the biggest difference I see. I find myself
engaged. Hindi right there.
Okay, I find myself engaged watching these films because I don't know what's coming next. I was just bragging on one of the other reviews we did with a lot of American films because it's a rehash of so many other films, and I've been watching film for so long. I can tell you what's coming next, especially with the comic book movies, because a lot of them try to say so true to the source material that I can tell you what's coming next. Obviously, that's a cultural thing, though, because, for instance, we just saw The Legend of Bhagat Singh. We had no idea what to expect. Had we been had we been more immersed into Indian culture, had we grown up there, we would have known what Bhagat Singh was about. So I would say that for me, where Hollywood movies are more predictable, okay, I think the stories are more original in a lot of the, not necessarily Bollywood, but Telugu and Hindi films. Raj Ragan 2.0. of the most original stories, you know what I mean, that I've seen, and it was super dark, and I love those crime and those dark films. So you know, I find myself not knowing what to expect in these films, so I'm more captivated. Where in American films, man, you know, I was watching Game Night the other night, you know, more of a comedy, kind of a rom-com, not necessarily a rom-com, but just a comedy, and with Jason Bateman, who's doing amazing work, by the way, on Ozark, which is also on Netflix. But I'm watching it with Savannah, and literally I was able to predict the ending of the movie midway through the movie, like, oh, this whole thing is a game. They just don't know it, blah, 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 whatever. So I guess that's the biggest difference. And that was under 5 minutes, Nick.
Okay. So I was just reading through some of these comments right here. We will be having a Patreon live stream. I'm not even sure if Gabe knows about this, next week, probably on Tuesday night, Pacific Standard Time. So look out for that. There's a question here from Arabs that says, what made you start research series on each national cricket team? So the biggest answer, the easiest answer to that is because of the copyright issues. I wanted to still do cricket videos that will not get copyright claimed by anyone because it's completely produced by us here at Boring Reviews. So I don't know why that switched. So I started thinking, you know, I want to learn more about it. Let me do some informative videos, basic overviews on different national teams. That kind of is what started that. That series will continue on Cricket for Americans. I just finished the research for doing my version or my video on India. So I'll be recording that within the next few days. That'll be dropping on Cricket for Americans in the next day or two. So look out for that. But I'm excited about doing this series. I know it's a little more stale. It's maybe a little more boring, but it gives me a chance to learn. It takes a long time to put this research together and try to find images that will not get have any copyright implications. That's the biggest thing. And as a YouTube creator, you are supposed to be creating your own content. So that's one way of doing it. We get a lot of requests to do cricket reactions, and we would love to. But any video that's from an ICC or cricket official channel, we don't touch with a 10-foot pole because that is just, they're not going to be happy. They're not going to like us reacting. I've actually sent emails to some of those bigger channels requesting permission to react to some of their videos. And the only one I've heard back from so far is the English and Wales cricket, and they say they don't want anyone reacting to their videos. So if we were to react to one of their videos, it would get an instant claim, if not a strike, and that would hurt our channel. So we've got to be smart. We've got to be wise. We've got to stay within the rules. And if a YouTube creator does not want someone reacting to their videos, that's their right. That's their prerogative. And, you know, as a YouTube creator ourselves, as a reaction channel, we have to respect that. So the videos that we do react to are the ones that we feel are safe. The one that we dropped last week, I followed all the different rules that I've made for myself. It just didn't work out. They were not happy that we reacted to that. And so, you know, they sent us the opposite of love for doing that. So just keep that in mind when we're doing that. But if we can create our own informative cricket videos, then those are completely safe and we'll have no issues whatsoever.
And, you know, for those of you guys that don't know, Nick is a little bit of a historian when it comes to sports specifically. Like this guy, I remember one of the things he used to do, he used to challenge me. You know, I love baseball. Okay. Baseball is as a Dominican person, you know, it's ingrained in our blood. So I would like be spewing out facts and he would be like fact checking, be like, that was 1986. And, you know, he knows all these, you know, things. And I was like, wow. It's like, and we would like be arguing in the lunchroom and checking on our phones who was right or whatnot. And 9 times out of 10, he was right with either the year, the name, the person, the feat, whatever. So I could definitely have seen him do something to that effect. One of his very first videos was actually more of a video essay. Actually, the very first one about Star Wars, and it was kind of like a video essay as well. So I could definitely see where he would do those type videos.
Yeah, no, it's fun to study history. I love history, no matter what the history is. I get fascinated finding out where did this start, where did that start. When I'm watching movies, I will automatically see someone like in a Hollywood film and say, "Oh, that's so and so from this, or that." I get excited from that kind of stuff. For the YouTube channel, I used to always get interested in the financial of each movie, the box office numbers, how much did it make, And, I didn't really share with a lot of people because I thought that was really nerdy. Now you have YouTube channels that are dedicated to, I don't know why these comments keep popping up on their own. I didn't put that one up there. But
that's cool.
now this channel is dedicated to. All right, so let's go ahead and respond to this question right here.
So it says, is it true that they use a new baseball after every 3 to 4 pitches? Yes, it is true. As a matter of fact, and you go to a lot of pro games, they throw, like, after every inning, they'll throw the balls at the last ball that was used in play into the crowd for the most part when the players have it, unless the pitcher ends up having it, but for the most part, as a position player, the outfielder or first base, second baseman, third, whatever, they'll throw it into the crowds. Foul balls, we don't have to throw them back. Like I just found out in cricket, they actually have to throw those balls back that go into for Sixers. They have to throw them back. And I mean, I've seen guys get a brand new ball. Umpire throws them a brand new ball. Pitcher will grab it and they'll feel it. Nah, I don't like it. Throw it away. It doesn't feel right because just depending, the older the ball gets, the more swings, the more tarnish it gets, it does different things. Now, some pitchers like it because it gives movement. That's why they stop after every 3 or 4 pitches, because the more scuffed up the ball gets, now it starts doing funny things. Some pitchers like it. Some pitchers don't. Some pitchers want to know exactly where that pitch is going. So for the most part, they'll throw it away themselves. Some of the older craft guys that want that movement, and that goes back to what we were talking about, the test, right? Where the Australian team had sandpaper in their pocket because they were trying to beat that ball up even more. Okay. American players have been caught for that. I remember one of the things we asked on the channel early on when we were doing cricket is there any scandals? And people were like, there's not too many scandals in cricket. There was a huge scandal. Like 3 people got suspended from the Australian national team, all kind of sanctions and fines. But that was a thing that also happens in baseball because the more beat up the ball gets, it starts acting differently. And they obviously, hitters don't want that, and some pitchers don't want that. So to answer your question, they do use a new ball after every 3 or 4 pitches. And there was another question right after that. In my opinion, which one is harder? I think the cricket ball is harder. The American ball has a little bit of give. It's a little smaller, just slightly smaller, and it has a little bit more give, not much, but the cricket ball is harder.
Yeah, you're talking about a minute difference, though. I mean, I'd rather get hit by a tennis ball than with a baseball, that's for sure, because baseballs will still hurt. To get back to this question, my take on that is Gabe's right. They do change it, but it's not like a rule that, okay, we've had 3 or 4 pitches, now let's get a new ball. It's like he said, it's if the ball gets scuffed, obviously if the ball's hitting the foul territory, you're not getting that ball back. Interesting fact, if you hit a home run as the opposing team, those fans of the home team, it's almost an unspoken rule to throw that ball back and not to keep it disrespectful. But yeah, he's absolutely right. When that ball goes like a curveball and it hits in the dirt and it gets a little scuff, the catcher will look at it and will just throw it aside without any questions asked, and the umpire will throw a new ball. It's crazy how many balls they go through. And then I've always wondered, maybe Gabe knows this. So when the ball gets scuffed in baseball and the catcher doesn't like it and throws it, or the pitcher, he'll do like something like this where he says, not official pitch, let me get rid of this. I think it goes to the bat boy, right? And do they just wash off the dirt and then give it back not with water, but do they spray it off the dirt and then give it back to the umpire, or that ball is just never used ever again?
Bro, that's a batting practice ball now, or that's the ones that they sign and give to the fans. They will not use. Once the ball is touched by another player, that ball is out of circulation. You got to use a new ball, because again, that player could do whatever in that quick second or two that it's in their hand. Now, again, it's a big deal, because if even like throwing batting practice, high school teams, right? You don't have the kind of money to buy new balls all the time. So early on in the season, when the balls are nice and crisp or whatever, you see your balls going where you want it to. But now, you have to try a little harder to aim for those areas. And I've drilled kids throwing batting practice, not intentionally. I don't want to drill my own players or whatnot, but because the balls are now doing different things, you know what I mean? So, and most high school players don't like it. My son, he actually likes the beat up, scuffed up balls or whatever, because he knows it's going to give him movement. So he'll do that, especially when he's throwing those nasty curveballs or whatnot. And like, oh man, oh, he's throwing his changeup. It almost drops, 3-4 inches the more beat up it is. But no, once you see the catcher or the pitcher, I don't want this ball. It's not like somebody else is gonna want it. That thing is out of circulation, man. They're keeping ball makers in business.
We got a fancy guest here to join us.
Shrink me down.
Say
Shrink
hello.
me down.
Hey. No, I'm just saying hi.
Come on, man. That's the talent.
Real quick, we'll get to some Jodi content. I just want to mention this comment. I love this comment. It says, congratulations on your channel. Thank you so much. Been watching OSR, and the differences that your channel and comments are a bit more technical. I also love the different baseball caps that you all wear. Cheers. Thank you so much for that comment. That is awesome. We also love our baseball caps. We're a little obsessed with them. That's for sure.
It's a necessity thing for me. I'm going bald.
All right. So any questions you have for Jodi, throw them in here. She's allowed to stay as long as she wants, but, she may want to get away from me because I might smell. Who knows?
Yeah, I showered, so I got the wet hair. He didn't.
I showered last week, I think, right?
What day was it? Oh, that's funny. I
think it was last week. Before we get to these questions, I just want to mention this guy right here, Varun. He is the guy who's responsible for our logos and our artwork that you see here in the corner. So I want to give him all the due and all the credit. Thank you so much for creating that for us. And soon our merch store will be available for everyone to get their own Boring Review gear. Everything on there is going to be created through Varun with help from us. So
Varun's question is, who makes the final call if there's a discrepancy to change the ball or not? There is no final call. Any player, especially pitcher or catcher, can grab that ball and just say, no, I don't want it. It's not like the umpire can look at it and say, oh no, this ball is good. Who are you, umpire? Get rid of that ball. I don't want it, period. So really the player.
So you guys know that Jodi means couple in Hindi. That's cool. Hey, we're a couple.
So, I mean, what happens if you were ever single, though? You would not be living up to your name.
Well, we should try that out. Just kidding. I've always hated the name Jodi. I hate that name. I wish I keep joking around with Nick. I need to go by my middle name. If I ever change schools, that's what I'll do. I'll go by my middle name. They won't know who Jodi is.
I've always liked that name, but I'm biased.
I was named after a girl my dad thought was really, really hot, his ex-girlfriend in high school. So maybe that
funny.
Okay, this is gonna create some issues right here. But Jodi, who do you think has the better caps, Gabe or Nick? Better answer correctly.
Oh, they both have amazing hats that fit their personality.
This is the thing about Gabe. He has some good hat game, but the problem is he loves to bring that ugly girlfriend to the dance every single time with that Knicks hat. I'm not sure what he's doing. That ruins his game every single time.
Bro, you got to understand, it's like a badge of honor. Whenever you're out in public and you see somebody with a Knicks hat, you just it doesn't matter. Savannah's like, do you know that person? Nope. I see somebody with a Knicks fan, and we just look at each other and nod like, respect. You know what I mean? You know why? Because that's a true fan. It's like being a Browns fan. Nobody.
Respect for what?
Because you suffer. We suffer together, okay? As Knicks fans, we all suffer together. So you see another Knicks fan in public, it doesn't matter if you know him or not. You just see him and give him the nod. I'm telling you, that's what it is. And it's like the scarlet letter, basically. That's what it is. It's a scarlet letter. When you wear a Knicks hat, it's a scarlet letter. You are cursed. You are marking yourself like, I am damned, okay? I suffer. That's what that hat means.
Dude, the Knicks fans and the Knicks team have a lot in common with Oscar the Grouch. They all deserve to be in the trash can, man. Come on.
Listen.
I get it. It's like an instant friend.
You know what I mean, Jodi? So, and it's almost become us against the world because we become a punchline. Watch ESPN and see how much coverage the Knicks get, which makes no sense because we're a horrible team and they just love to clown us. Every draft, how wrong we get it. Every single draft, how the team is in disarray. How they how even ESPN, James Dolan needs to sell the Knicks. It's so bad, and this is not even a funny thing, right? But I follow this other Knicks channel on YouTube, and when it came out that James Dolan had coronavirus, bro, the comments on there was just too disrespectful. And as much as I hate James Dolan, I'm like, come on, guys, that's extreme. That's extreme. And people were like, maybe we'll get a new owner. That's all. I'll leave it at that. But that's how serious these fans are. They hate James Dolan. He is the most hated owner in professional sports, at least American professional sports. And it's not even a close second, man. But that's what it is. It's a badge of honor. You say you wear a Knicks hat, and that's saying I am. As a matter of fact, babe, hook me up with a Knicks hat, please.
No. He keeps bringing that girl to the dance. It's like, come on, man. You're embarrassing yourself.
But it's the same like if you see somebody reading a book you love, they're an instant fan. You love them. So, I mean, it's just on a different level. You're already becoming friends and associating with somebody, having that respect for them based on a team.
Now, I'm surprised Gabe's not, he's not defending himself. I'm wearing a Chargers hat. The Knicks have more championships than my Chargers have, different sports. But, I mean, my Chargers team is pathetic, and he's not taking those obvious stabs at me. I'm surprised.
Well, the difference is the Knicks is one of the original basketball teams back when ABA was here. So we got a few more decades on you guys. Plus, are you guys a running punchline in the media, in sports media? No. Does ESPN crack on the Chargers every single game or every single draft? Bro, our announcers, I don't know how our announcers are still employed. They just ignore them.
They can't even get the city correct, man. They keep calling them San Diego 3 years later. We have no fans. Should I go on? The Chargers are the butt of every joke. This is the thing. The Knicks are that pretty girl that people still want to give attention to, but they can't stand her personality. The Chargers are that ugly girl, and or ugly guy, doesn't matter which one, and no one even cares. No one wants to acknowledge them whatsoever. I don't even know if the Chargers are part of the NFL. Are they? Or are they like an honorary member? I mean, come on.
I think that's another reason Nick and I are friends, because we suffer, together. We quietly sob during football or basketball season at work. Like, oh man, what a tough one.
Nick and I had to have a conversation early in our marriage about his anger when the Chargers played or the Padres played, because he'd get so mad when they would lose. And I'm like, dude, you can't watch him anymore if you're going to be this ticked off every time.
It's called passion, my friend. Passion. Our cricket fan audience, they can understand with their sport of cricket. It's all about that passion. We were talking about the IPL in one of our videos, and we had asked the question, which IPL team is like the Yankees? Which IPL team is like the Knicks? And they had mentioned the Mumbai Indians are like the Yankees, and I think is it RCB? How do you pronounce it? What's the letters there? Is the team that just is in shame every year. They have Virat Kohli, they have AB de Villiers, I think, and they just can't get out of 8th place or something like that. So I mean, those fans, they definitely understand what we're talking about.
RCB.
Do you guys see the animated SWAT cat? Yes, I used to see SWAT cats actually. Centurion, Captain Planet, Johnny Quest, saw it all. Uncanny X-Men. And Uncanny X-Men is now on the Uncanny X-Men, I should say, is on D+. All the episodes are on there. Awesome.
Nick, are you getting enough sleep? Looks like you spend too much time editing. That, and he's also been staying up late reading. He's been reading. I even saw on Amazon last night he ordered a new book.
What are you doing to my friend, Jodi? No. Oh,
actually, okay. So I was so jealous of him because the other night we were reading together. He was reading Ready Player One, and I was rereading Sense and Sensibility. Got to have my Jane Austen every year. And then, so we went to bed and whatnot. But then the next day, I'm sitting here doing schoolwork on the computer and everything. I've got all this stuff. And he's sitting there reading, getting stuff done at the end. Evening time, dinner's 8. He's sitting on the couch reading. I'm still doing schoolwork. I'm like, no, I'm so jealous. Stop reading.
Oh, my God.
I was reading Ready Player One. It's a great book. I definitely recommend it. I ordered Dune because there's a new movie that was supposed to be coming out this December. Maybe it's pushed back with all this pandemic nonsense. But I want to see what Dune's all about. After I ordered, I realized it was 900 pages. Woo, we'll see how that goes.
You'll get through it. 900 pages is nothing.
Oh, because Dune is the movie's coming out. Right. Dude, here's a Gabe comment for you. When you was thinking about when Jodi was mentioning Ready Player One, I was gonna say, Nick, you know that's a movie, right? You can just skip the and watch the movie. That's a Gabe comment right there, bro. I'm sorry, I just cannot read for pleasure anymore. Other than comic books, can you see the and guess what? There's no 900-page comic books. There's some models. I got the Flash one up there on the wall. Okay. But for one of my favorite DC characters. But other than comic books, man, like the big, huge novels, especially the ones that aren't necessarily engaging right away. I have trouble getting through those, you know what I mean? But you know, it's okay, Nick.
You read Tuck every year?
What happened?
I said, did you read Tuck Everlasting every year?
You know what? And it's funny. I read Tuck Everlasting and then I show the film. And even though it's a Disney film, there's like one kissing scene in there. So I have to like get all the parents to sign waivers or whatnot so I can show it to the students. And 9 times out of 10, it's amazing. But the majority of the kids like the book better than the film. And I'm like, okay, good. You know, I'm instilling a passion in literature. And from that perspective, yes, the movie is, the book is better than the film. I usually do, when I taught 5th grade, we do the Greek mythology. So I would read Percy Jackson with them and then show them the film. And most kids, again, like the book more than the film because they like the details. So, you know, I it's not like I don't read, but yeah, I'm not doing a 900-page Dune book. That's not going to happen. I can't get through it.
You can. Length is nothing. I think that's the thing that as a world, like as a society, I should say, we become so used to instant gratification. We just want it done and we want it now. But if you like the content, 900 pages is really nothing. Isn't it the worst when a book ends? Like you want that ending, but you don't want it at the same time. You're like, no.
Yeah, yes, I guess I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Hold on.
So we got a question that we'll post on top in a second. Nick's typed in the comments. Now I got to find it because it disappeared. But it's, Jodi, do you like Nick better with or without the beard? So this is how taste changed of the year. When we first got married, used to hate the beard. I did not like the beard at all. We'd kind of have a joke that Nick likes long hair. So I'd keep my hair long, and as soon as he got a beard, I chopped it all off. I chop it up to my chin, nice and short. And then when he'd shave his beard, I'd start growing it out. But now that, I don't know, we're older, I like him with the beard. I think it makes him look more distinguished. But he definitely looks younger, I think, without it.
Yeah, like a million years younger. I look like a complete different person, old man with the beard.
Yeah, Nick can grow one of those.
I
really
prefer the beard too.
Yes, you can.
I just had to cut it off for a work thing, but you know, I might grow it back eventually. It does get kind of itchy. Anyone that has a beard, they know what I'm talking about.
I'd like to see you grow like a full-on Santa beard, see what that looks like.
I'm not interested in that. No thanks.
Like no joke, guys. I haven't shaved in weeks. All right, weeks. It doesn't get much. I mean, it'll get scruffier, but I have not shaved in weeks. My beard is ridiculous. I can't grow a beard. I'm one of those men that just, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what questions you have for us. Let us know what movies we should check out. Make a case for what's the best movie that we have not watched yet that we need to review. This is the best time for that. Go ahead and send those questions, and we will adhere to those. That's the main reason that we did our live stream today. Celebrate 20,000 subscribers coming up, but also to get to some questions and to interact with you all. So here's one for Jodi right off the bat.
What character trait would you like in Nick, which maybe he lacks from any Jane Austen novels? Oh, okay. Let's see. So,
what's with the attack?
Okay, no. Okay, I didn't mean that. I laugh because this can come up bad. So the other day, like, I do my best thinking when I'm getting ready in the morning. And the other day I was just thinking, like, of all like Jane Austen's, a couple of friends and I, we were trying to name like what characters in her books we thought each of our friends were. And so I was thinking, like, what would be the perfect man out of all of Jane Austen's novels, right? So definitely would want somebody who is as like forgiving and charming as Mr. Tilney in Northanger Abbey. I love him. But you kind of, okay, forgive me for this, but you kind of want somebody like Mr. Darcy with like the beautiful house and the money so you can just travel and enjoy life. Because come on, let's face it, most of us just want a lot of money. I'm being honest. But I also like Captain Wentworth from Persuasion and his forever love for Anne. 8 years apart and he still loves her.
You don't think I have forever love?
You do have for love. I'm not saying liking, I'm just saying perfect guy for a second. Okay? And just saying, right?
Wow.
And then Edward Ferrars and his like loyalty, because he was willing to marry a girl that he didn't love just because he had already promised an engagement, but then he still came back to Eleanor, who he loved. You know, I just love the loveness. We could keep going on, but I'll stop.
I have so many jokes going through my head right now.
But
Listen.
the character trait that I think you lack, character trait is hard. I don't know.
You can be honest. It's okay.
I'm trying to think. You know, Mr. Bingley. Mr. Bingley in Pride and Prejudice is just happy-go-lucky, and he just loves everything, and he looks at the positiveness, and I love you, dear, but sometimes you're grumpy. So if we could just throw a little bit of Mr. Bingley like, happiness there, we'd be good.
All I know
probably be it.
is in the comment section of every video, they always mention how I'm so upbeat and energetic, and Gabe is so not. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, first of all, Nick, this is what happens to you for marrying a woman that reads for pleasure, okay? Second of all,
I didn't even go through all the men either.
This is why I do not like romantic comedies. You know why? Because it sets unrealistic expectations in women's heads, okay? Let's be real. That is not real life. That is not, okay, it's so far from what reality is. Like all that stuff, especially when you're a fan, when you have a family man and you work or whatever, you know what I mean? We're gonna, disappoint you on the occasional anniversary or the occasional birthday or you know what I mean? It's just one of those things where I think that much like, and here's my argument, much like, okay, Hollywood has glamorized these women with these incredible, gorgeous bodies or whatever and set this image of what a female should look like and set unrealistic expectation. Books do that for men. Like, listen, come on. Who can live up to that? I can't live up to Mr. Darcy. I can't live with those guys. So that, we got 2 super chats, so I'm going to cut myself short. But Nick, I told you. You need to stop this reading thing immediately. Cancel her Kindle account. Cancel the Amazon, bro, because you're never going to live up to those guys.
No, we can't do Kindles. You have to do the official book so you can smell the pages and hold the book and highlight and underline all the perfect parts, the discussion. No, you should see my novels. They are written all over.
You just blew his mind. I want to give a little bit of love here to Samir. Thank you so much for your super chat of 400. That is just so awesome. If you have a question, let us know. If you have a request, let us know. You are just sharing some love with us. And then we also have, I don't know where it went, missed one. Another 200 from Samir, it looks like. Aww. And he says, hey guys, stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you so much. You do the same, my friend. That is very kind and very generous. Thank you so much. We appreciate that help. So far, we're staying safe, hence the reason for the streaming. I was just thinking yesterday, I was like, maybe we should have Gabe come in the studio so we don't have all the streaming issues, technical issues. Maybe it should be safe, but we've been doing good so far, so we'll still wait a little bit before we jump into that. But I'm super excited. There it is. Thank you. I'm super excited to be able to get Gabe back in the studio so we can just have the one screen and we can just, have some fun or whatever. But, man, can't wait for that to happen.
I saw a question earlier, which said, is the lockdown lifted where we live at? The restrictions has actually been extended to May 15th, and they're talking about relaxing some businesses just so you can do curbside. But one of the last things that are going to open are casinos. You got to understand, man, casinos are like small cities in and of themselves. At any given time, just the employees, MGM, for instance, where I used to work at, it has 5,044 rooms. MGM itself employs 8,000 people. That's just employees. So let's say for the day shift, the majority of the day, you have, let's say 5,000 of those employees, because of course you got swing and grave, or let's say even 4,000 of employees. That's just employees. When you have another whatever 6, 7, 8,000, 10,000 people on the casino floor, that's a lot of people in one area that if an outbreak happens, it could get really bad. So it's going to be one of the last things to open up.
Yeah, no, it's we live in a crazy place where the casinos are such a big part of that. This is a good question right here. Merzer, which character do you like the most? Gudu, Muna, Colleen? What about Babalu? He gets the shaft. What about other characters in there? My son, or one of my I hear all these like banging around. It's someone on the roof. I forgot. Someone's here to take care of some stuff. And I'm like, who's making that noise?
I was thinking the same.
I already know who Gabe's favorite character is. You can tell me if I'm wrong. I think he's going to say Gudu 100% because Gudu is just out of control. And he is.
You know what? I didn't like Gudu in the beginning. I did not like Gudu at the beginning. But man, he became a gangster. I really became a Gudu fan when I thought he was actually going to betray Colleen, right? And he's sitting there with the head guy from from Jinapar, and they're trying to get him to jump ships or whatever. And he's like, so you just want me to jump ship? You want me to betray him? He's like, listen, he did it to me. He's going to do it to you, whatever. And he just gets up, boom, in front of all his people and smokes and then puts the gun down and says, y'all all got a choice. You can either join me or I'm going to drop you like I dropped Hit. Like, he's a gangster. They're holding AK-47s, but he's got the wherewithal to get it done. So Gudu's my favorite character. But you learned about how ruthless Colleen is. That last episode, to me, if you haven't seen it, watch episode 1 and then watch episode 8, bro. Episode 8 just blows your mind. Colleen is a gangster. His lines were delivered so well, too, when he's got the cop, and I don't want to be too spoilerish, but he got the cop out there. He said, I've already met you before. He said, no. You met the businessman before. Now you meet in the Don. I was like, oh, dude. It was insane, man. It was insane. And even Muna,
my favorite,
earned my respect that last episode. I'm telling you, this show's amazing. I can't wait.
No, they have a lot of characters that you can get behind that you can root for, you can be impressed with. My favorite was going between Babalu and Gudu the entire time. They're our main characters. But I liked Babalu's more intellectual approach to it, more reserved, calm down approach, and how he saw an issue and he used his mind to kind of fix the gun trade, and he was working on the drug trade before everything went down. But Gudu, I mean, like you say, when he's with that guy, what's his name, Ratty Shanker, when he's with him and he takes him out, I mean, that's a defining moment. We're like, oh man, this guy's no joke at all. And I loved him in episode 1 too, so I'd have to probably go with Gudu as well, especially, spoiler alert, since he's our only surviving of the brothers. And I can't wait for season 2. I sure hope that they were able to film it before this whole lockdown. So they're in the editing room working on the editing right now so we can get it on Amazon Prime. I know there's different rumors out there that it's already done or it hasn't been started yet. I just hope they finish filming it. Can't wait to get to that because that show was a lot of fun to watch, a lot of fun to review with Gabe. We got every episode, our breakdown on that, our overall reviews for each episode. So go ahead and check it out. We got a lot of questions here about using Zoom for chats. The reason why I don't want to use Zoom is because there's been a lot of reports in the last month that people are hacking into Zoom more frequently than using like Google Hangouts or Google Meets or something like that. So maybe for our Patreon celebration that we have, our live stream, maybe we will use a Google Meet if everyone has a Google account, because that's the way that we can all see each other and we can interact that way. That might be a lot of fun. But I'm leery to use Zoom just because of all the hacking issues that have happened so far.
Yeah, no, Hold on. I was gonna answer another question over here. It says, tell us your top 5 actors in Bollywood to date. You know, we're gonna at least I am going to generalize, you know, Indian film, period. You know, Bollywood, Tollywood, Telugu films. For me, number one absolutely has to be Amir Khan. As much as I love Nawaz, man, Amir Khan is he's an artist. He can play any character. And, you know, when you cry during watching a film, somebody mentioned they were watching one of Ifram's Khan's films, Anadan, yesterday, and cried. I shed tears during Dangal. I mean, it was so emotional, relationship with him and his daughter. And, you know, again, not too spoilerish, but something happens at the end where he doesn't actually get to see her win that gold medal. You know what I mean? Like, that was just so emotional. He's amazing. He was great in PK. He's just good in everything he does. So Amir Khan for sure. Nawaz has to be number 2, man. He is like, it's funny because most of his,
I am shocked that he's your number 2 and not your number 1.
I'm telling you, it's him and Amir Khan. They're always neck and neck. But here's the thing. I could see Amir Khan playing a real bad dude too. He could play a gangster. He could play a love interest. He can play, he's got that large, you know what I mean? I can look past my own biases and say, okay, I like the gangsters. I like the criminals. I like that element, the dark element, but who has a wider range? You know what I'm saying? So as far as a wider range, come on, it's got to be Amir Khan. But Nawaz, man, Nawaz is so amazing. So amazing. He is, you know, like Al Pacino. I hold him in that light where he plays the best gangster, period. Okay. If you think about, especially in the late 80s, early 90s, you know, gangster films, Pacino or De Niro, those are the only 2 names that come to mind. For me, if I'm thinking about Indian gangster film, it's got to be Nawaz, period. Okay. Because he's got that demeanor about him. After Nawaz, you know, now these 3 could probably be interchangeable. What's the boy from Hater? Oh, I forget his name. Shahid
Kapoor.
Shahid Kapoor. He's also, and again, fell in love with him in Padmavat. You know, he's got that menacing demeanor in that film, and he's a really good bad guy. And I think it's so much harder to play a bad guy than to play a good guy, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
The bad guy in Padmavat is Ranveer Singh. Ranveer Singh's a bad guy in Padmavat.
Oh, no.
Shahid Kapoor is the good guy in Padmavat.
Right, they're both in that film. I always get confused whether they're both in that same film. Padmavat is one of my favorite period pieces so far. So yeah, Ranveer Singh as well. Ranveer Singh, I'm telling you, he is one of those guys where he has a wide range as well. You know what I mean? He can go from playing this menacing guy to then the rap movie Gully Boy, right? To then playing there's a little lag there. Sorry guys about the lag again. We're using a StreamYard, but then playing Gully Boy. And then last, simply because here are my biases, okay? He's probably not recognized as a top actor in Hollywood, but to me, he's like Don Cheadle. This guy is a scene stealer no matter what he's in, and he's amazing, and that's Pankaj Tripathi, okay? Colleen from Mizupar, Vicky in Vicky Please and Street. He plays so many different characters, and no matter what he does, he's a scene stealer, man. He was in Angrazi Medium, right? He played like the Pakistani shady guy, or actually he was like an Indian shady guy that got him the Pakistani passport. And it was so funny. He was like, I'm not Pakistani, I can't do that. He's like, you want to get into you're gonna have to or whatever. And it was just, he was so funny in that scene. So he can go from being funny to being menacing, and that's one of the reasons I like him. But that's my top 5. Just being honest, it'd be tempting to say like Irfan Khan, but I haven't seen enough of his films. I was probably familiar with him earlier because I've seen him in American films, but I can't say that I've watched enough of his films to say he's my favorite. And he doesn't necessarily play the evil bad guy. So that, to me, he is normally the guys I right away jump on. Nick.
So we got a super chat that we're going to get to, but I want to give my top 5 before we get to that super chat. So we're talking about like the Mount Rushmore of Bollywood or Indian actors. I'm going to say Indian actors, but we're going to add the extra in that top 5. And for me, it's really no contest. I think it'll be harder to do a top 10, but top 5 is super easy in no particular order. We got Nawaz, obviously. He is one of those actors that just gives you a serious, awesome performance every time. And then when you see him something like in The Lunchbox or in Bajraji Bhaijaan, you get to see him in a different light. He's still awesome. You have Amitabh Bachchan. I mean, this guy is a original superstar. We're going to be reviewing Dewar pretty soon. And Amitabh Bachchan, he gives the performance of the entire film in that movie. This guy, I've not seen him in a movie. He was not good. We got introduced to him in Pink. And I remember thinking, like, this guy's a horrible actor. What is this guy doing? He's not doing anything. And then you find out this guy's one of the greatest actors of all time. And then I found out later on that movie, oh, he was just portraying that kind of character. So we got Nawaz, we got Amitabh Bachchan, obviously Amir Khan. You cannot have a top 5 of Indian actors or even a top 3 without Amir Khan. This guy is legendary. He's got so much charisma. He is able to portray any character he wants, and whether he's a major character or a minor character, he is your favorite character. He's just so awesome. An example, secret superstar. He has a small little role, but he is just so hilarious and so awesome in that. Number 4 would easily be Ranveer Singh. Come on, Ranveer Singh is the man. I love Ranveer Singh. Everyone knows that. Gully Boy is my favorite Indian film of all time that I've watched so far. I listen to the music literally just about every single day. It's become my soundtrack for when I'm doing my research on these cricket overview videos. I just have several tracks on that soundtrack that I love that I'll just listen to in a loop. Ranveer Singh is able to give us an Aladdin performance, able to give us a Gully Boy performance, able to give us a Simba performance, and he's just so likable and so good. And then last, I'm going to shock everyone with this one just to be different, because I am different, because I smell different, because I act different. I'm going to throw in a surprise one, and I'm going to say Vijay Varma. That's right, Vijay Varma. He's a character actor. He was in the newest Bogey 3 as the Pakistan guy who's getting him some information and some stuff. He was in Gully Boy as the guy who has a little gang of kids that are stealing stuff and trying to make a living. He was in he's in the show She that's on Netflix right now. This guy is a minor character, but I'm glued to the screen whenever he's on there. Vijay Varma is my surprise for number 5. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate, but I have not seen him in something I do not like so far. So let's get to our super chat. We really appreciate that. This is from Gajraj Sangwan. He says, hey, guys, love your content. One of the best movie reviews out there. Thank you so much. Review Kumbalangi Nights. It's a great film. Also, Nick, can you say Vicky, please? Vicky, please? Oh, man. We have already reviewed Kumbalangi Nights. Thank you so much for that. We love to be an instant genie and say, here you go. Me and Jodi reviewed Kumbalangi Nights. We absolutely love the film. Spoiler alert. Check out our review. It's actually one of our most successful reviews. Thanks for the love there. And yes, Vicky, please. She is so awesome.
I was annoying Savannah week after that. Like, you were annoying Joey because we just kept, even at school, we were like, Vicky, please. And that was probably the first time I saw Pankaj, right? I think that was the first time we seen Pankaj Chapathi, and I was like, dude, he's hilarious because he was his little monologue,
and you were gravitating to him right away. You're like, dude, did you not like the professor? I mean, you just love this guy, and it made me think, like, oh yeah, he was a good character.
He was hilarious. He was like, I got 3 PhDs. I got an MBA. I have this. I have that. I know all things. It was just hilarious.
And that's where your tagline comes from that we end most videos on. I know all things. It came from Pankaj.
Pankaj. Okay, I did not create that myself. That is Pankaj's line, just so we don't get copyrighted at that. In case, in case they went ahead and copyrighted that thing.
I don't know if you can copyright a line, who knows? All right, so there's a few comments that I see right here. Oh, I love this right here from Sirioja. Vijay Varma, good choice, Nick. I think he's awesome too. Thank you so much for that. Here you go, Gabe. It always shows up, my friend.
Yes. Listen, I tell you, you know what? I'm gonna come up with a list to defend myself on top 5 Ben Affleck films you have to watch. And dude, he is a great actor. And the thing is that people just didn't understand his performance in BBS because he was playing and one of the spoiler alert, Jodi, the very first book I read, an actual book novel, was The Dark Knight. Okay, and this was when you got the older
one, not Batman Year One.
Not Batman Year One, but The Dark Knight. And this is actually, you know how it's a novel because it has no pictures, Jodi, no pictures at all. It wasn't a comic book. And it's the one where Batman gets his back broken and then comes back. He has the Robin becomes Batman. But in any event, it's the older, more grizzled Batman who's already lost a Robin. Like you saw, he lost a Robin. He becomes very jaded, very violent, and that's why I loved that performance, because I understood it in BBS. But man, if you watch Ben Affleck and you see films like Good Will Hunting, like The Town, and you say, I mean, Ben Affleck cannot, you're like, come on, stop it. The Accountant was one of the recent ones he was in. Ben Affleck can act. I mean, he may not be, all world like Leonardo DiCaprio, but he can absolutely act. So I stand by my Ben Affleck support.
He can act. He's just not the best Batman, but that's okay. I appreciate the opinion, and we all have our different opinions, and that's super awesome. But we appreciate all the super chats and all the love. We appreciate the questions. Let me go down and see if we have any questions here that we can answer. Here's one right here from Arov. Will there be a CFA video today? And is the schedule still Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday? That is the schedule. And then this week happened, and I got off track. The copyright strike really threw me for a loop, and it kind of got me off my game a little bit. So more than likely, there will not be a CFA video today, but there will be one tomorrow. And thanks for that question. But yes, going forward, it will be at least 3 a week, and it should be on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. If it's not, then it'll be the next day after that.
Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman, best team ever. Do you see that? 932. Oh, that kills me. It kills me to my very core. I hate Jordan with a passion. All New Yorkers do. All Knicks fans do. 932 from Muma. But you know what? You really find out how good Jordan was, later on, because it was so hard for people to meet his feet. I think Kobe's been the only one. Not even LeBron has been able to get the 6 rings yet. So that just tells you how good he was. And there's this documentary now about the Bulls and how much strife there was. I didn't realize the reason Jordan retired was because after he won that 3rd straight championship, one of the head executives from the team or whatever wanted credit. So he told Phil Jackson, no matter what we do this season, you could go 82-0, you're not coming back. And then, it was like, oh, if that is it really, like, again, envy plays a big role. So Jordan said, well, if he's not coming back, I'm not coming back. And that's when he left and retired, started playing baseball. But there was so much turmoil, man. Like Dennis Rodman, dude, they had to go and get this guy here in Vegas in hotel rooms with Carmen Electra, like before, a day before a playoff game. Like this guy would disappear for days on end, and all those DNPs when he was with the Bulls was because he was either too hungover or they just couldn't find him. He was a wild man, dude. So yes, it was one of the best team ever, but that team broke my heart as a Knicks fan. Oh God, I hated the Bulls. Nick, you got to be a Bulls fan.
Unless you were a Bulls fan. Unless you're a Bulls fan, you don't like them. But I completely respect them for what they did. I mean, they were, in my opinion, probably the best team ever. There's a few that are in contention for that, obviously, but I mean, they were dominant. And every time they wanted to win a championship, when Jordan was there, they did. I think Joey's got a question she wants to answer here.
Oh, no. Somebody just said in the chat, like, is it me on that Jodi P account? It is. I just had blonde hair. That was long. And just never updated my photo. But this one, I just have to show this really fast because this totally made me laugh. What would Batman do if his bat was broken? He'd become a baller.
That's a cricket joke right there.
I like that.
So good, I couldn't even laugh out loud. Sorry. All right, y'all can go back to your thing.
No, I was looking for that question. Someone mentioned they liked it. There's another question right here that I wanted to get to, or maybe it was before that. Right here. What are misconceptions about India or Bollywood before you watch some movies? So I'm assuming this question is asking us before we got into Bollywood films and watching our first one, what were the misconceptions? What were the prejudices that were in our mind about it? I will tell you right now, there was an article a year and a half ago about Bollywood, and I had heard about Bollywood before that, but I really knew very little about it. I wasn't even sure I knew it was a movie industry, but I read this article on my Google feed on my phone, and ever since then, different Bollywood articles would show up. And so before this YouTube channel even existed, I started getting interest in learning more that Bollywood is not just a movie industry, but a huge movie industry that makes hundreds of movies a year and makes a ton of money and has people, actors and actresses that have a passion for making movies, and they love movies just as much as we do here in the States. And I didn't know that other countries were as obsessed with movies as we were, besides maybe China and England and Australia and whatnot. And so that was kind of the beginning. My previous misconceptions about Bollywood were that they were not a lot of substance, that they were very colorful, that there was almost like that they were kind of like silly movies, if that's the best thing I can think of. Those were some of the misconceptions, and that they were not comparable to Hollywood. Those were some of the prejudices. And then when we went into these movies, and most of the movies that we were requested to watch, the first 10 or 20, none of them fit that description whatsoever. They were serious, well-made films that made us get so excited enough to make reviews about them. And those misconceptions are just that. They are misconceptions. Are there bad movies in Bollywood? Are there movies that have no substance? Sure, you have that in Hollywood as well. We have tons of movies like that. It's not just strictly to Bollywood. But to me, here in the States, my opinion is not a lot of people even know about Indian films. When I talk to them about it, they don't really know too much about it. Like, I didn't know too much about it a few years ago. And it's sad because these are some great films that deserve to have a bigger platform here in the United States, and they don't have that platform. What were some of the misconceptions that you had, Gabe?
I thought it was a lot smaller than it was. I didn't realize the scope where Bollywood is putting out and Indian films in general are putting out so much content. And the reason I say that is because part of the connection, my mom's English still isn't really well. So when we watch movies with her, we try to find like new Spanish movies that are actually in Spanish, no subtitles. She's older, so it's harder for her to keep up with the subtitles or whatnot. And, just to like, if you even watch Spanish television, Telemundo, they have like a lot of these like made for TV movies or whatnot, but actual theatrical releases and stuff, huge set, they don't have too many. I would say maybe a couple a year, 5, 10 a year, something to that effect, maybe 20, that would be a lot. But, like the Quarantine, which was a very popular a movie, was originally a Spanish movie that was, then turned into American or Hollywood, made a remake of it. But I thought it was smaller. I didn't realize how big it was. I didn't realize the scale, specifically because when you mention overseas box office, they don't ever really mention the Bollywood box Indian market. They usually mention just China. They usually just mention Japan. They mention, of course, Europe, but they don't really mention. So I didn't realize the passion for film that there would be. So that was a misconception. I thought it was on a smaller scale. I had never seen anything before. So I knew it existed. I had heard Bollywood before, but I thought that most of the films, and this is the only place I get my knowledge from. I've been watching this show called New Girl for many, many years with the wife. That's one of her favorite shows. And Cece, who's on there, she's actually Canadian, but she's part Indian. And she was a model or whatnot, and part of the storyline is that her mom was a Bollywood dancer. So I always thought that a lot of Bollywood films just specifically were, these films with these dance pieces in it, which of course there are some of that are like that, but I didn't know there were different types of films like the dark Raghman Raghava, or the crime stories of Telugu films. I just didn't realize how big it was. You know what I mean? probably the biggest misconception. I thought it was on a smaller scale, much like Latin American films.
Cool. So a lot of questions here. I want to get to them. This question for all three. What is your favorite food? Jodi, you want to start off?
Crepes, French crepes. Yep, crepes.
There you go.
Just like that. Oh, and chocolate satin pie. I can eat an entire chocolate satin pie by myself in a day. Just bring it over. We're good.
I have no idea what
my favorite is. What? So you can get them frozen at the store, Marie Callender's little thing. You just let them defrost for about 4 hours. They're delicious. My favorite type of food is Mexican food. I don't care if it's the authentic. That's the best one, obviously. I don't care if it's Taco Bell. I love Mexican food. I do most of the cooking, so I make fajitas for us once a week, whether they like it or not. And that's my favorite dish is fajitas with the peppers, with the meat, with the cheese, the guacamole, the avocado, sour cream. All of that is the way I do it in the tortilla. That's my favorite.
My wife is part Mexican, so I should say Mexican because I do eat a lot of Mexican food, and she's also Hawaiian, so I love Hawaiian food. But I would say my favorite food, just being a New Yorker, it's pizza, man. I grew up eating pizza, and there's only one or two places in Vegas that get it right, but pizza is probably my favorite food. Just growing up in New York, man, there was a thing, man. A Coke and a slice, you know what I mean? $2.25. It was affordable.
Hey, here's a question for you, Gabe. Let's see. It took me a few seconds to understand this question, but here's a question for you. What is Bueller? Remember at the end of our old introduction?
Bueller. It's a line, a throwaway line, really, from a movie called Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It was a 86 or 87 film. And I cannot remember the name of the star. Matthew
Ben Stein is the guy that does the voice, and then Matthew Broderick's the guy that plays
Broderick plays Ferris Bueller, but Ben Stein from those allergy commercials, the really boring professor, that's what Bueller's from.
Eyes.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Since our channel was named Boring Reviews, and a lot of people even ask us, why did we name it Boring Reviews? Well, because the misconception is that, teachers are boring. And, I'm not going to lie. I've had a kid fall asleep in class before. I had a kid fall asleep in class this year during the observation with the vice principal in the office. It was hilarious. Man. I can't make it up. And I was just laughing. And then afterwards, during the observation, she's like, man, that's real life. It happens. And, I'm not one of these teachers that tries to prep their students like, oh, the vice principal's coming in to observe me. Just, I just go with the flow. And he fell asleep. And, I busted his chops a little bit when I was like, hey, man, late night at the club last night. What's going on? Throw some water in your face. Fell asleep during the observation. I couldn't believe it. But, that's why that's Bueller's from, you know what I mean? Just a pun basically on the fact that the channel's Boring Reviews and we're both teachers. So obviously we're boring.
Yeah. And I remember I gave him like very little time as we were creating this channel to come up with some kind of tagline, and he came up with that pretty quickly. So that's not too bad. I like this one from Rashab. Jodi's looking like Kate Winslet.
Oh, thank you.
Kate Winslet is a beautiful actress. So that's awesome. We have Serioja Nick. How many home runs can a player hit in a game? I'm curious. All right, great question. So I know Gabe's going to want to take a bite of this too, but basically the record for most home runs in a game is 4, and there's like 30, 40 guys that have tied that record, which is incredible. 4 home runs in one game is out of control because most batters are going to get 3 to 4 to 5 at-bats in a game. So you're thinking a home run every single at-bat. So typically a batter, now there's different type of batters. There's some batters that will get 1 or 2 home runs for the year. There's a lot that will get 8 to 10. In the steroid age, we were having guys hitting 60 home runs and they play 162 games in the season. So if you're taking one of the best home run hitters that hit 60 home runs, or Barry Bonds hit 73 one year, you're still talking about 1 every 3 games. Most batters will hit about 1 a week, maybe 2 a week. 1 every 5 or 6 or 7 games is, I would say, maybe the average for our power hitters. But our average for most hitters is, if you hit 20 home runs in a season over 160 games, that's a good home run season. Not great, not horrible. That's a good home run season. That's kind of the milestone you want. All the Yankee players with their short porch, they all hit 20 home runs, no problem. I remember one year for the Padres, our home run leading hitter, Cameron Maben, with 10. He had 9. He didn't even hit double digits. 9 home runs was our leader for the entire team. You're talking about 1 every 20 games or something like that. So hopefully that gives you an idea. But Gabe, what's your take on this question?
You hit that nail on the head, man. I can't even explain it any better. The most is 4 a game on average. I don't think anybody's ever done 5 because you only get 4 at bats. And normally when you get more than 4 at bats, that means you're going into extra innings. You're tired. There's a lot of switches that go on defensively. So more than likely that's never really happened. That's a good question to look up if there's ever been 5 a game. But you're right. 4 is usually the max. You know what? Just because Shiroza is on fire, look at the 936 comment from Shiroza. Gabe liking Ben Affleck as Batman is one of the reasons he can't grow a beard. True story. You know what? I'll even take the bird, man. That was hilarious. I like it.
Wow.
I was punished for liking Ben Affleck. That's why I can't grow a beard. That's hilarious.
That is awesome. Serioja, I mean, I like that that tongue-in-cheek humor right there. That's pretty good. Let's see here. Got some really good questions. I love this one right here. Gabe can speak for about 24 years straight. If you tell him to say something about it, he is never out of words. And that's why I love having him on this channel, because when I can't think of something to say, I just look at Gabe and he's good to go.
You know what? Nick's power was the wet naps, okay? My power was the gift of gab, okay? You see my wife, and most people are like, she's way too hot to be with. She was like, I agree, okay? What my secret is just keep talking. You confuse them, okay? You wear them down. It's like a weapon, all right? By the time you like bury them, you keep talking so much like, what? Did I agree to a date yet? At some point in the conversation, you agree to a date. So you just talk so fast and talk so much that you just wear them down, and then mentally they're yours. Guys, that will work more often than not. I'm telling you, wet naps, it must have been a beard or something, because wet naps is not going to work. But if you just, go up to a chick you like and just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and then occasionally you take a breath so that they can talk, and then you talk again, they figure, wow, he's been talking for we've been having an interesting conversation, engaging conversation for 3 or 4 hours. He actually listens. No, you've been talking for about 3.5 hours. You only gave it 30 minutes, but she doesn't know that because you've been on the phone with him, for about 4 hours. So stick to that, you know what I mean, and you'll do fine. And then if that doesn't work,
Hate to break it to you, Gabe, but the reason all girls love Mr. Darcy is because he's quiet. He doesn't talk to Elizabeth. He totally ignores her. He's rude to her. But that secretly intrigues you. All girls want to chase. Okay. We really want to chase. We want to go after the guy. Okay. So talk and talk and talk. That just annoys them. Because really too, no offense, but girls just kind of want to talk about themselves. So you ask them questions, let them talk about themselves, and then you have them. But in all reality, just be yourself. Be sincere.
Absolutely. That's the secret right there. But that was hilarious. 24 years straight. Oh, no, I
did. So she's like, Joey's like, I didn't put that comment in there. And I'm like, yeah, you did. It's got your picture and everything. She's so afraid someone's gonna hack into stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, oh wait, that was me. Well, because somebody said it was a hacker, and then sometimes people put different photos and change their name, and I never thought about that. Anyway.
Shubham says hi, Nick. I just want to say hi back to you. A little selfish right there. Let's see. We got some questions about why do we like Verzar. You like a movie that you like. It's as simple as that. We mentioned all our thoughts in the review. Go ahead and check out that review. If you don't agree with that, then it is what it is. But everyone likes movies for different reasons. What do you think the future of the MCU will be? Rumors that Ghost Rider Easter eggs. Will there be a Doctor Strange 2? There was a Doctor Strange 2 in the works. I mean, as far as I know, it's going to happen. I'm hearing rumors right now that Chadwick Boseman might be out as Black Panther. I think that would be a huge mistake. There's supposedly he wants some more money, which, pay the man, for crying out loud. His first movie that he was Black Panther in made over $1 billion. Come on. Let's not be cheap now. But I think if you take Chadwick Boseman and you focus on is it Neymar? Who's the person they want to focus on instead as the new Black Panther? I think that's a big mistake because we haven't heard the entire story yet on Chadwick Boseman, T'Challa. Let's get his story fleshed out and then change the Black Panther. What do you think about that, Gabe?
I know that's one of that's probably going to be the villain in the movie, supposedly, is Neymar the Submariner. They're trying to expand. We know pretty much their slate in the short run, but I think that in the long run, what they're going to do is introduce mutants into the MCU. Now that you have the X-Men, now that you have the Fantastic Four, it makes no sense for you not to use the biggest names in Marvel, the most popular names in Marvel. So they'll probably introduce a Fantastic Four first because it's easier, but eventually they're going to use WandaVision in order, because she is one of the most powerful mutants, to change reality, and part of that changing reality is going to be introducing mutants. So I see, after WandaVision and them introducing that she has this power to change reality, because she's so powerful, she has chaos magic, probably mutants within a year or two, especially since the Marvel's already used mutants themselves, the Inhumans, which was absolutely atrocious of the series. People say I don't crush Marvel. Oh my gosh, the Inhumans was an atrocious show. They even got it on Disney Plus. I don't know why Disney Plus would put that on there, but that's probably where they're gonna go.
Here's our next T-shirt idea, Gabe.
If you can't win them, confuse them. I'm telling you, man, it works. They're like, they don't realize you're the one that's been talking that long. They'll just think, no guy's ever been on the phone with me for 5 hours. Okay, well, for that 5 hours, it was just me dominating the conversation. But they don't know. Like Jodi said, they want a guy that'll talk and that'll listen. Just confuse them to thinking that they're the ones talking.
Talk about high school. That's all you do in high school is talk on the phone with the opposite sex for 5 hours. You get off the phone at 3 a.m. and have to wake up at 5 a.m. to get ready for school. I remember doing that. Those are some good times.
So we kind of addressed this earlier. Do other people from there watch or really interested in watch Bollywood movies? In my circle of friends, I don't really hear them talking about it. A lot of my friends know that we have a YouTube channel. And so one in particular, what's up, Kyle, if you're watching, he's started watching some movies like Bahubali and whatnot because I keep talking about it. But, for the most part, when I say, hey, I'm watching an Indian film, if you want to check it out, they're like, oh, that's nice. There's not a lot of interest, Gabe. I'm not sure if you know of too many people that are really interested in Bollywood films either.
Some of my personal friends and family members, they'll watch some of my reviews and be like, oh man, I got to check that out. More of the shows, you know what I mean? Because they're already free content. They're free and they're streaming. So Mizupar, a lot of people watch Mizupar because I recommended it, as well as Sacred Games. But I think that part of the reason is that it hasn't had enough exposure here. And what I mean by that is, for instance, Parasite, right? Parasite won all these Oscars, I should say, and now everybody's all into Korean films or whatnot. So I think it's going to take a really big win like that, and to get that mainstream notoriety, so that Parasite's on Hulu, it's on Amazon, it's everywhere. So now people are getting more immersed into Korean films. So I would think that when you had a big winner, and I thought Gully Boy would have been great was really well. Obviously, it didn't win the nomination, but once you have one of those big bangers like that, then more people become immersed into it. Especially right now, man, because people don't realize this delay, and I was listening to, I forget who it was, maybe Grace Randall or someone else, or maybe John Campia. This delay because of coronavirus is going to have a lasting effect on Hollywood. Okay, it's not like they can go. You know what it takes for a movie production with social distancing? That's not going to happen. These schedules are getting pushed back. So Netflix, all the streaming platforms are going to have to find different content, and this would be a perfect time to start introducing some of the foreign films, specifically Bollywood films, Tollywood films, and Telugu films. But I think they got to do a better job marketing them. You know what I mean? If that makes sense, marketing them to the American public. I watched one on Netflix, and now I get it. I get all the newest films on my preferred watch list or whatnot. But if you never watched them, it would have never been on the Netflix top 10. It would never be there. Same thing with Amazon. So if they can find a different way of marketing to the American public, especially right now, because people are starving for stuff for content to watch. You can only watch so much Friends. You can only watch so much New Girl. Okay. I love Avengers Endgame, probably seen it 20 times. You can only watch Avengers Endgame so many times. You know what I mean? So this is probably the perfect time to strike. And even they're talking about once movie theaters do reopen, putting in older films to reopen theaters, because again, they're not going to have enough content. Movie theaters cannot survive off of 1 or 2 movies a week. You know what I mean? They need a few films a week. They need consistency. 1 or 2 films a month definitely isn't going to fly. So maybe the movie theaters, AMC of the world, need to start playing more than just 1 or 2 Bollywood films or 1 or 2 Indian films. Nick and I were upset that we wanted to watch a few movies, but for instance, one of the only films in our area was Baghi 3, and then you saw one. I can't remember. You saw one without me. But what's our at the theater experience? What's really our choice? How many foreign Indian films do we get to see on the big screen? Very few.
Yeah, no, it's kind of sad. It's criminal. So it's just one of those things. I'm not sure what would need to happen besides like a Parasite type issue where those movies come to the forefront. There's a question that keeps going on a million times saying, Gabe, why haven't the Indians movies won an Oscar? We can't answer that question. We're not the Academy. We have no idea the politics involved. I know only a few have been nominated in the last few decades for Best International Film. But the truth of the matter is the Academy Awards, they don't look at movies the same way the average fan does. We look at entertainment. We look at acting. We look at everything. The Academy Awards, for the most part, they look at what is art. They look at, for lack of a better description, what has the most swear words and what has a lot of nudity. They want to have gripping movies that just show this or that or whatever. And I'm glad that they noticed a movie like Parasite, because Parasite is a really good film. It's not just an artsy-fartsy nonsense. I'm glad that they noticed that. I really enjoyed that movie. But they tend to go with these films that the mainstream audience members are like, how did you not nominate this? That was a much better film in a million different regards. So we can't speak for the Academy. We're not sure if they even are too well-versed in Indian films. But, some of those films definitely deserve to be nominated for something. But unfortunately, Hollywood dominates the Academy Awards, and they have, that one category of international films.
I mean,
I'm peacing out, you guys. Bye. Sorry.
Jodi.
You guys enjoy your talk. I'm going to go eat. Have fun.
I mean, just to go a step further, think about it. Parasite was the first film to ever, a first foreign film to actually win not just Best International Film, but Best Film overall, right? You know what I mean? And Best Screenplay. And, that just doesn't happen. So I think that it's bias really on Hollywood's part and the Academy Awards' part of recognizing other places and recognizing other film industries, politics. It takes a lot of money too. It takes a lot of money usually for a film to even get nominated. Okay, it's very political. How many when you release films is actually a big deal when it comes to the Oscar. Is it, we have quote unquote Oscar season. These are the films, and usually it's the ones closest to the Oscars because that's what's most recent in people's memories or whatnot. But there's so many things that go into the Oscars. My thing is when you got some of the biggest movies of all time, like Avengers Endgame, that got snubbed at the Oscars, but yet a movie like Green Book won, that it doesn't really mean anything. You know what I mean? Because it's all politics. Because there's nobody in mind that can tell me Green Book was better than Avengers Endgame. Stop it. $2 billion. Let's be honest. But the politics goes into play when it comes. That's the bottom line. Like Nick says, they want that sensationalization. And Green Book, came out at a time where racial tensions were really at a high in this country, and they figured, here's the perfect film to convey the the fact that racial tension's been around for a while, but that together we can overcome it, and blah 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 blah. And it just makes sense. Ferguson had just happened around that time, and that's why, in my opinion, Green Book won. But watch Green Book and tell me that's an Oscar-worthy movie. Stop it. I can tell you 30 movies.
I still like Green Book a lot. I'm not saying it's the best movie of the year, but I still like it. But here, Mose is obsessed with John Travolta. So, Mose, I like it, but come on. Denzel Washington by far is a much better actor. Denzel Washington is a film treasure. He is maybe top 3 all time. He is unbelievable. We've had this conversation before on this channel. John Travolta, I don't even know if he gets an invitation to the honorable mention list of like the next 200 people.
Mo for you guys that don't know, that's my younger brother, Mo Diggs Effect. Check out his channel. He does music and stuff on his channel specifically. But Mo grew up in New York and then Jersey, when we moved from New York out to Atlantic City, New Jersey. But he's a big John Travolta fan. John Travolta in the early 80s, he was on fire, man. And Mo says yes, he's been in some classic movies like Grease. That's an all-time cult classic. Then you've got other films in his Entourage, The General's Daughter. He's got a lot of good films, but later on in his career, he's dropped some trash, man. After Earth did a lot of damage. And The Fanatic,
Battlefield Earth,
yeah, Battlefield Earth did a lot of damage. And The Fanatic was absolutely atrocious. The Fanatic was one of the worst films I've ever seen, and I just watched it just to laugh. Really, another reviewer that I saw was like, "You got to watch this. Is Hilariosity." I think it's called, where I think it's Chris Stuckman. He does movies that are so bad that you got to watch them because it makes you laugh. And this is absolutely one of them. You know what I mean? This performance was atrocious. Like, what were you thinking? You know what I mean? But come on, Denzel Washington, he's a national treasure, man. Are you kidding me, bro? When you think about all the films Denzel's been in, from, take Man on Fire to The Pelican Brief to
The Pelican Brief. You're talking about Denzel, and you bring up The Pelican Brief? How dare you? What about Glory? What about Training Day? What about Remember the Titans? What about Fences? This guy is from performances. John Q, for crying out loud. You give me The Pelican Brief?
I loved him in The Pelican Brief. That's what I'm saying.
Come on.
Here's the thing with Denzel.
That movie makes me fall asleep every time.
You got to try to find a bad movie when it comes to Denzel. You know what I'm saying? There ain't too many bad movies when it comes to Denzel. Exactly. So Mo,
Philadelphia is awesome, man.
Yeah, Mo, love you to death. But again, I love that. As you see where I get that's that Lara kind of, thickness, where we stand on something. We say it, we stand on it. And Mo stands on it. He loves him some John Travolta. But come on. John Travolta he can't even be in the same room as Denzel. Like, you got the upper echelon, and then you just got, hey, we might throw you a bone in the next film.
No, some of the best John Travolta films, we've mentioned this before, but I want to mention it again. Phenomenon's my favorite movie that he was in. He was great in Pulp Fiction, obviously. He was great in Look Who's Talking. He was great in Grease. And there's some others that I know I'm forgetting about. He had some good movies. I love the Look Who's Talking movies. Those movies are hilarious, but he's not anywhere near a Denzel Washington. So I want to address a question. I can't find it right now, but a question earlier about what else are we watching right now besides Indian stuff? And that's a great question, because of course we're watching other stuff. I'm a huge Survivor fan, so I'm going on Amazon Prime and watching old seasons of Survivor. I love that reality series. If you have Amazon Prime, check it out. It's, these people are just put out on the island and they have to survive. It's great. Me and Gabe are both watching For Life, which is a great series on ABC. We're going to do a review for it. Gabe told me about it. I started watching it. It is fantastic. I'm just hoping that the season was filmed in its entirety before the pandemic so we can get the conclusion to this season. For Life is fantastic. I'm trying to think some other movies I've been watching besides Indian films, besides like the rehashing. We do a lot of family movie nights at my house, and so each person will choose a movie and we'll sit down and we'll watch that. My kids love Disney Plus. They are checking out Recess and 100 Dalmatians and all different types of things on there. So we have a wide plethora of stuff that we're checking out, but For Life is a serious show you should check out. I'm also watching Lincoln Ryan. I'm almost done with that series. So much good stuff. What are you checking out, Gabe?
Again, I'm finishing up the test. I probably finished the last episode today. Do a review on that. We talked about For Life. We'll wait until the end of the season so that we could do a full season review on it. Hopefully they finish recording it all. What else? Other content, kids. So that's one of the reasons we did the Trolls World Tour and Upward or Onward reviews, because a lot of people are stuck home with their kids or whatnot. So we watch stuff with our kids. A lot of Disney Plus, kind of like you mentioned, along with my kids, especially since I got the younger kids. Alex, like I said, just turned 9. I've gotten away from having CNN on 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day because the news is just killing me, man. And what's funny, Mo had a funny idea for his channel where he's gonna do some comparisons between CNN and Fox News and do like a jousting battle, man. Because you listen to these guys, it's hilarious. You would think that we're not in the middle of a pandemic, man. All these guys do is take chances to take pot shots at each other. Like, are you guys kidding me? It's hilarious. But and that's about it. Some classics. I just recently saw on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which is on Disney Plus. The Princess Bride. I'm gonna watch that with my kids this weekend. That's also on Disney Plus. So that's about it. And no, we don't work for Disney Plus. They're not cutting us a check. It'd be nice if they did. But there's a lot of good family-friendly content on there.
Yeah, there was a question. Man, I just lost it. That really piqued my interest. But someone mentioned about Coke Studio. They just said, how can we not do any more Coke Studio reactions? We've done 5 Coke Studio reactions in like the last 2 weeks. We've done quite a few. We're definitely not going to stop anytime soon. I mentioned earlier, I have been sending emails to different YouTube channels to avoid any copyright issues, and Coke Studio is one of them. So I'm just waiting for a response from them to see about reacting to more of their videos. But they have a whole plethora. If we can get their permission to react to their videos, then it's awesome. I know it's something that Jabby Koué does. He mentions it a lot of times in his videos that he asked for permission, and he thanks them for the permission to do their reactions. I think that's genius. I think that's brilliant. That way you have no surprise of why did they not want me to react to their video. So we're just waiting for some permissions from certain channels on those reactions. Basically, movie trailers are for the most part safe. The only thing that gets claimed in those things are some of the songs that are in them. So when you watch our reactions, you'll see some like other song that gets dubbed over it. It's because of the copyright claim and because we had to change that out. But that's the deal with Coke Studio. That's the deal with Nescafe Basement, with Cricket channels and Cricket videos. Just waiting for some permissions. There are these awesome guys called like Jungle Constructioners or Mr. Huang or something like that. These guys go out in Cambodia and they just build stuff out of nothing in the dirt there. These great temple looking in pools and whatnot. I've sent requests to them to do reactions to their videos. They're like 20 minutes long, but these things are fantastic. If you haven't seen them yet, I want to do some reactions to those so you can get an idea of what these guys are doing. There's a lot of awesome stuff on YouTube, and everyone is just being very close to the vest with their content. And so it's just about making sure you get permission to react to it so you don't get surprised with a copyright issue. But that's the deal with what's going on there. We get a lot of questions right here about the Watch Cricket Explain on Netflix. We are going to do that. We will probably not do a reaction to it. You saw Jabby Koué release one yesterday, and he had to cut it quite a bit after getting permission. So we're probably going to do a discussion based on Netflix. In the future, we're going to do some more discussions based on cricket highlights on Hotstar. We're going to do discussions in the future on different World Cups that have been around. It's just a matter of me and Gabe getting together to record those discussions and get those schedules. We're still working right now as teachers, so we don't have all day, every day just to record. Gabe's got his family. He's got a boy in college. He's got other things going on. So, we'll get to all that stuff in due time for sure.
They're talking about reviews as well. Another review we're going to be doing is Dewar. Dewar is coming up pretty soon. Nick's already watched it. I'm halfway through it, so once I finish it, we'll be doing that review. Who is my favorite YouTuber? As YouTubers, obviously what we do, we're interested in movie reviews. I would probably say my favorite is oh man, it's got to be between Chris Stuckman and Jeremy Johns. Probably Jeremy Johns, man. He's hilarious when he does his reviews, and you know he does something I can't do, which is absolutely keep it short. But just some of his mannerisms are hilarious, especially when he's reviewing.
It's crazy how he just does his review in 5 or 6 minutes. He's able to talk fast. He gives you a full review. He gives you everything you want to hear. He is the best in the business at that. He's got just that simple, red screen behind him or whatever. Jeremy Johns, I agree. He is probably the best movie reviewer out there, and he's just so likable. Tyrone Magnus is awesome. You mentioned Chris Stuckman. I like Sean Chandler. We watch Grace Randolph. We check out, obviously, our stupid reactions. We check out Jabby. We check out Daniel and Gian from time to time. There's just so many good YouTubers out there that it's hard to have the time to watch all the newest videos from everyone. I'm super jealous of Jabby and OSR doing all these interviews with these directors and Nawaz and whatnot. It's not fair. I would love to get to that point.
Yeah, that was super cool. OSR when they had Nawaz on there, I met a lot of famous people, and it's easy to be around famous people, specifically, when you're interviewing them and asking them questions, especially if you're a fan. I go back to my Derek Jeter story. I've met so many famous people, and I'm pretty much not fazed by it because I've been driving limos for a long time as my second job. But when I met Derek Jeter, bro, I was starstruck. I couldn't even get the sentence out right. I was probably driving down Las Vegas Boulevard 10 miles an hour in a Rolls Royce. He must have been thinking, what's wrong with this guy? Is his first time driving? He was probably nervous, but I was gripping the steering wheel for dear life. You know what I mean? Because again, you're around an icon. So, I give them credit because they held their composure during that interview with Nawaz. And that was really, really cool. Let me see. Marvel or DC?
This question, Gabe.
DC.
Sorry. Yeah, we've mentioned that quite a few times. We're both DC guys, but we love the MCU. It's a lot of fun to watch. I like this question. Where do you think your channel will be in a year's time? What is your aim and your expectations? So at the beginning of this year, in January, our aim and our goal was to get to 25,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We thought that was doable. We thought that would be awesome. We would be so proud of that. And here we are celebrating almost 20,000 subscribers in May. So obviously we're going to hit that mark. Our first goal was to get to 10,000 subscribers. We did that. Our next goal is 25,000 subscribers. But getting subscribers is great, but it's not a guarantee that people are going to come back and watch your videos. My aim for this channel by next year's time is to have a core audience to where we can put out the videos that we love most to put out, and we're going to get support on those videos. And what I mean by that is we started this channel because me and Gabe love talking about movies. And yes, that love is cemented in the foundation of Hollywood films, and then it's expanded to Indian films as this channel has progressed. And so now that's a part of it. But we would love to have just discussions, maybe not reviews, maybe not reactions, but just sit down, turn on the camera, and just have discussions about different points, kind of like we're addressing things right now, and to be able to have those videos get a lot of love and be able to get 5, 10, 20,000 views because our audience wants to hear our opinions about this or that. Now, that's a very self-serving and selfish type of desire, but I'm going to be honest. That's what I would love to do. When news breaks out about the next MCU movie that comes out or the next Amir Khan film that comes out, to be able to sit down and just record our thoughts about it and post it and be able to get some love, that would be the goal. We're going to keep doing reviews. I want the reviews to get more love and get more support so that when we do the reviews, we get more support behind that, because it does take time to watch the movies. Doing a reaction is super easy, obviously. You just put on something and you react to it. But that's kind of my goal, is to be able to get that core audience like we're building right now with you guys showing up to our live streams. It's awesome to see the same names over and over, supporting us, showing us love. That's what we want to do. We want to be able to build the brand of Boring Reviews, but it's never been about money. It's been about more people to reach, talking about movies and spreading our love for movies. If we make some dollars in the long run, then that's great. But that was never the focus. The focus was, I have an opinion about this movie and I want to share it with someone. What's your goal for this channel, Gabe? What are your aims that you have?
Dude, that's easy. To make everyone in here a Ben Affleck fan, bro. I want to convince everybody to my viewpoint. No. I mean, basically, you know what? Think about it. Realistically, who doesn't want support? So we want to just put out content and have people support it. And again, have like-minded people joining in the conversation, have fun. You know what I mean? This was something separate that we started doing together. I'm with you. This is not my full-time job. I'm an educator, much like you are. But, you know, we make some dollars. That's fine. But our biggest thing is just putting out content, having fun, enjoying what we're doing. And that's a big part of it, you know, and learning more. We absolutely love learning. I love becoming immersed in as educators, we love learning. So I love being immersed in different things and different content. At 1019, Silent Killer put something where that's a really good point. And that's one of the reasons why I love the fact that we've been able to learn so many new things, where it says, I bet you know about Greek mythology, but you don't know anything about Indian mythology, the oldest civilization in the world. You're absolutely right. It's not part of our curriculum here in America. Okay. Greek mythology and Latin is simply because we use Greek and Latin root words in a lot of medical terms, a lot of legal terms. So that's why they put that as part of the curriculum. But guess what? Because we've jumped into it, we were starting to, hey, I was watching a video the other day. What was it? After we watched, when we were doing Sacred Games, remember how some of the titles from Sacred Games meant different things? So we would go and look up a video and like, oh, what does this actually mean? Things like that. So yes, we don't know it all. We will never know it all, but we will become more immersed in it. So thank you for that comment.
Yeah, and talk about Sacred Games. Here's just a little love that I want to focus on for a second. Your review of Sacred Games is the best on YouTube. Thanks a lot, Siddiqui. That is awesome to hear.
Not happening, Gabe. They're not Ben Affleck fans.
It may come around in time. But I agree with Gabe, what he said about learning about Indian mythology, learning about Indian history. That's one of the best things about this, because as educators, we like to learn. We love to learn. And it's been a lot of fun. That's why I loved watching Begot sing so much. I don't know if it was an overall amazing movie, but I gave it an A+ because I loved how I reacted to it and how I felt about it. I love this love from Nilesh, Gabe, and Nick. Both of you are so cool. And Nick, your wife, she's adorable. I agree. She absolutely is. That's why I joined the bonds of marriage with her, my friend. Let's see. It says, check out Criminal Justice with Pankaj. If you're a Pankaj fan, it's on Hotstar. This guy's in everything, for crying out loud. And then let's see. Tepesh says, guys, to be honest, I've been watching reaction channels for a long time now, back from when Jab was just 20K and wasn't even big. But y'all are different. I really like y'all and connect with you. Thanks so much, Tepesh. That's awesome. That makes us feel awesome and great.
All ancient civilizations were polytheist. I just lost it.
It's on the screen now. All destroyed by Abrahamic religions, only ours survived. Wow.
Interesting. Okay. Land visitors have some data. 30 foreign land visitors have some data to watch live stream. Thankfully. Oh, that's hilarious.
Tandem, you're the man. Chandon, sorry, you're the man. It's good to see you back on here and that you have some data left over. You know what's interesting, Gabe, is I was looking in the comment section like I tend to do for the Sri Lanka video I did, and someone mentioned that in Sri Lanka, he lives there, and he said that a lot of them buy these data cards to get the internet. They buy these prepaid cards Remind me of like a calling card or whatever from back in the day. And right now, all the stores are closed. So the people that ran out of data on their data cards, they can't get to the store to get new data cards so they can have internet. And so I just thought that was it. I mean, it's different situations for each person. We're really lucky right here where we got the fiber optics connected to our house. And so you just got to pay for the data, which is expensive. But can you imagine not being able to have a data card and not having access to the internet for the unforeseeable future? That would be horrible.
Bro, I don't know what I would do if that was done in my house, specifically for two reasons. A, we have four kids here. B, I teach right now. We still work. We teach online. So you need internet. You need it. And, you know, it's basically internet or life decisions. Like, okay, this week we will not eat steak or chicken or any kind of meat. We're just going to be sticking to rice and eggs or whatnot because got to pay the cable bill, man. Got to keep that internet. Plus my television, everything I do is stream. I don't even have like regular cable. I don't find a need for it. Most of the time I'm on YouTube anyway. So I'm like, yeah, no way. I need the internet. But thank you guys for using some of that data to hang with us for 2 hours during this live. Much appreciated. Much appreciated.
We got a question here. How's the experience listening to Coke Studio? Now, honestly, I'm loving listening to Coke Studio. Gabe was on a video, and you know I loved having the video. Not only did it help the views, but it was good to get different experience from each person on experiencing the Coke Studio songs. I'm a religious person. Gabe is as well. But as a religious person, I'm liking listening to these songs and hearing that religious aspect. I want to do more. I'm waiting for Coke Studio to respond to my email and my request. But I'm loving listening to the music. It's music that I would not think of to put on my, my Google Hub as I'm getting ready to rock out to because I don't know about this music. The Runaway song that me and Jodi reacted to, she listens to that pop song all the time. So she loved being introduced to that. Some of these singers all these singers are unbelievable. I'm loving the vibe in the Coke Studio where you have the musicians and it's just laid back and you have the Persian rug and you have these singers doing their thing. It's absolutely awesome. I would like to be able to have our whole audience engage more in the Coke Studio in maybe a positive way, but because as far as that, it's just music. It's not politics. It's not this or that. It's just music. And I get if it's a religious song like the Allah song, I get that's about God. And maybe some people aren't believers in God, and that's fine. I don't expect you to watch that video. But the music's beautiful. The music's amazing, and I'm really enjoying it quite a bit.
Joaquin Phoenix or Heath Ledger as Joker. We've talked about this, recency bias makes you want to think about Joaquin Phoenix. But when you go back and watch Heath Ledger's performance, it was masterful. It was absolutely masterful. So I still got to go with Heath Ledger.
Oh, 100%. Heath Ledger. Joaquin Phoenix gave him a run for his money. I think it's awesome talking about Oscars. There's a lot of conversations I was looking and browsing through on the Oscars and is it important? Is it not important? At the end of the day, it's not important. But also it is important because it gives a lot of validity because that is the premier awards group of people out there. But I think it's amazing that we live in a world where the Academy is usually pretty stuck up that we have two actors that won Oscars for the Joker. Now they said Heath Ledger won it because it was posthumous. It was after he died. Joaquin Phoenix put that to shame because he won it and he didn't die in the role and he still earned the Oscar. I think that's fantastic. Comic movies don't get any love, but we have two Jokers that won the Oscars. That tells you something. Joaquin Phoenix's performance was amazing. I just connect a little more with Heath Ledger's performance, and the dialogue he was given was, unbelievable. It's a great performance. One of the best of all time.
Did you see Mo's comment at 1027? He said, you think COVID-19 is bad? Shut down the internet globally, see what happens. Oh, that would be bad. That would be bad.
You would have riots. Honestly, it would not be pretty. That would be horrible. So here's this question. Are you learning the Hindi language? I have taken 2 lessons so far using Pimsleur. I have not gotten back to it since. just because, only so much time in the day. But I am interested in learning. I was hoping I'd be able to pick up some more of the language by watching so many films that are in Hindi, but that hasn't worked out too well. But I'm not giving up on it. It would definitely behoove me to learn more of the language. It makes it easier to watch these movies. Will we consider YouTube full time? I can't see that ever happening. We have families and we have people responsible for. We have great jobs where we get paid pretty good to do our thing. Teaching is our first love. I don't see us ever going YouTube full time. That was never a goal of ours. And I don't really think it's a very feasible goal either. I honestly don't know how the other full-time YouTubers do it, to tell you the truth. It's not an easy job. They have to manage their merch store. They have to manage their videos. They have to manage their copyrights. They have to manage their Patreon and their Twitter accounts, their Instagram, just to be able to make enough to survive. It doesn't sound like something that appeals to us. Would we love for that to be an option? Sure. But that is not a goal of mine whatsoever. Because even look at these times right now with this pandemic, so many YouTubers, they're struggling financially because they're making a lot less. The income on videos have gone down at least 50 to 70%. Think about that. If you're a full-time YouTuber, your income just got cut in half without you doing anything about it. And that's based on the monetized ads. There's less advertisers out there willing to spend money on advertisements, which means there's less monetized videos out there. So just consider that it's not a secure job. As teachers, we have job security because for the most part, no one wants our job. So we're going to be able to stay in our job forever. And that's our first and foremost responsibility. YouTube was always a hobby of ours. We always did it because we want to talk about movies and have that platform. And this has given us that platform. Hopefully will continue to give us that platform.
And I mean, I also look at it like I'm not huge on Facebook. My wife's more big on Facebook, but it's another way of social networking, right? Expanding your friends, expanding your circle. So yes, full time, no, but definitely on the same thing we've been doing, where we've created this family, this Boring Review Nation, where we can discuss movies and films and sports and things of that nature. But I love teaching; it's my passion, and I don't see myself leaving teaching. I'm one of those guys that's going to die on the job too. I can't do retirement. For people who think retirement's sweet, this is retirement. You're home every single day, and people are going stir crazy now. No, thank you. I'm gonna stay working for a long, long time. So somebody said they've been watching the NBA since 2002. Why is the Knicks so bad? Is James Dolan seriously the villain? Yes, he is. He is evil. He is a villain, and he needs to be stopped. The NBA needs to make him sell the team. Oh, James Dolan. Yes, the Knicks. It's a tragedy, bro. It's a tragedy. I can't even.
I like this question from Mo. Once again, he's bringing the good questions. And this is for Jodi, but she's not here right now, so I'm going to go ahead and answer it. Would you guys put Julia Roberts in the top 5 female actors of all time? One word, no. I think Julia Roberts is a fine actress. She showed her chops in Erin Brockovich and in the Ocean's 11 movies, and and in Pretty Woman and whatnot. I just think that there's a lot of actresses that put her to shame. One of the ones I can think from the top of my mind, besides Meryl Streep, is Viola Davis. Viola Davis is an amazing actress that we have in Hollywood right now. She has so much range. You watch her in Fences. You watch her in How to Get Away with Murder. You watch her as Amanda Waller in Suicide Squad. This woman, this actress has no no weaknesses. She was great in The Help. So I could think of a lot of other actresses on that level. People make fun of Renee Zellweger because of Botox, whatever she's got going on. She can act. She can flat out act. And every time she's in a role, she is unbelievable. So I think Julia Roberts has just been lapped by a few of our modern actresses to this day. But I would say in the 90s, definitely she was top 5, but just not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, even when you think about top 5 all time, she has a tough time competing with some of the more serious, dramatic actresses out there, or, I mean, ah, it's so tough because she has a specific niche. You know, she is America's sweetheart. I think I would have to though, because she was in so many romantic comedies, bro. And she's had such longevity. That's the thing about her career. Jamie Lee Curtis, a lot of these big actresses from the even longer acting. Julia Roberts is still acting. There is something to be said about longevity. So if your body of work, I may have to put her up there in the top 5 of all time. I mean, she's been in some great movies. I might have to. I may have to agree with you more. Like realistically, when you think about it, I can name 10 Julia Roberts movies off the top of my head. You know, can you name 10 Meryl Streep movies off the top of your head? Can you name 10 Jamie Lee Curtis movies off your top of your head? Can you name the average person? I know you're a robot, but I'm saying the average person.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying, like those type of actresses.
But I'm talking about acting ability. That's all I'm talking about is acting ability. I don't think in a romantic comedy, which is what for the most part her films are, you get an opportunity to show your acting chops. I think there's a misconception that someone is a bad actor because they're in bad films. I don't agree with that. What's the material they were given? What's the dedication they were given? And did they, you know, mail it in or not? When I think about Julia Roberts, has she been in great films? Obviously, like I said, the 90s, she was America's sweetheart. She was in hit after hit after hit. That's a different type of question. As far as top 5 box office draw, then yes, 100%. As far as choosing successful films and doing a great job, yes. But as far as acting chops, I just don't know how much material she was given a lot of those films, besides an Erin Brockovich, besides A Pretty Woman, besides Pelican Brief. You mentioned that. She did a great acting job in that film. That's where I come. Obviously, she's a treasure. Obviously, she's a superstar. But when it comes to top acting, I just can't put her in there. But I respect your opinion. And then as far as Jodi goes, she is not a big Julia Roberts fan, so I don't think she would put her in top 5. She's not a big fan of hers. I'm a bigger fan of Julia Roberts than Jodi is.
You know, there was a little debate or conversation going on in there in the chat when we were talking about teaching, and somebody was mentioning why teaching is considered to be like a last option as far as a profession is concerned, and why it's not respected. And somebody else mentioned that, you know, teachers are like gurus in India. Somebody was like, well, guru is supposed to be, you know, a teacher for enlightenment, and that's a little extreme or far-fetched of a comparison. But here's the thing, you know, when you think in my opinion, all civil service is looked down upon, from being an educator to being in law enforcement, you know, in the military for the most part. Okay. And to me, those are some of the most important jobs. They're not some of the most lucrative jobs, but there's a difference between importance and lucrative. Okay. Let's be real. Okay. If you're being a police officer, you're putting your life on the line. You're a law enforcement. You're putting your life on the line, and for not much more than what the average teacher makes, you know, especially early on. So you do it because it's a calling. You go into it because it's a calling. Same thing with the military. You go into it because you feel a sense to serve your community, serve your nation. And, you know, it would be nice if things were more equitable and those professions were all paid accordingly. You know, why does a Fortune, you know, a manager in a Fortune 500 company, or an executive, or an athlete for that matter, make 10 times, 20 times, 100 times what an educator makes, or what a law enforcement person makes? You know, I get it. There's a special skill, especially when it comes to acting and being an athlete. But, you know, it's just the economic system we're in. But if you only put a dollar amount on what you do, for instance, and that's the only value to it, then is it really your passion? There's an old adage that says, if you love what you do, then you'll never work a day in your job. Like, yes, is YouTube to be hard? Yeah, we got to, you know, watch these films. We got to stay on schedule. You know, it's time consuming. Nick with all the editing, but he enjoys doing it. You know, is teaching hard? Yes, but we enjoy preparing. We enjoy the interaction with the teachers, with the other students. So we enjoy doing it. But if it was something you were miserable at doing every single day, do you really want to do that for 20, 30, 40 years? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, personally, I wouldn't want to do it. So I think that's my long/short answer. If you love what you do, you never work it a day in your life.
Yeah,
and that's how I feel about teaching.
Here's Joey's response to Julia Roberts. I think Julia Roberts is a fabulous actress, but she annoys me, and I don't really know why. Someone also has been asking about bringing our kids into the videos. Let me explain. The reason why that's not going to happen is because of the COPPA laws, COPPA rules. If you have any kid actors, any kids in your videos, then you cannot monetize those videos. You have to put it as made for kids only. You can't have a comment section. You can't get notifications from it. You can't, well, you can subscribe, but you can't do other features of it. You can't run ads on it. And so for us, I mean, unless we're doing something silly, something fun, then there's this or that. Also, as parents and as teachers, unless they have their own YouTube channel, you kind of don't want to, have your kids in your videos for other reasons too. So that's why that is. It's YouTube rules, and that came into effect in January. They're asking about when we're going to go to India, Gabe, and the Wolfpack, which I know is your kids' channel. They're saying, yes, Gabe, when are we going to India?
Listen, guys. Yeah, that's Savannah's probably on there with them right now. Dude, that's an expense. And right now, somebody said that the tourism industry is gonna die after COVID-19. It won't die, but it's definitely gonna take a while. Just to give you guys an idea, I went to Virginia for Christmas with my family. My father-in-law lives out there, and man, just in airline tickets again. And 6 of us went, because my oldest son didn't go. He was actually in school up there in West Virginia. But 6 of us in airline tickets, I'm spending $3-4 grand. You know what I mean? Hotel rooms or whatever, it's expensive. So as a family trip, yeah, it's gonna be a while before we save up and we're able to go. Mrs. Gaitonde and the Wolfpack, but we'll make it there eventually. You guys know we love travel, and now that everybody's getting older, we'll definitely need to take some more of those trips before everybody leaves the house. And then it's just me and Mrs. Gaitonde.
I forgot about Julia Roberts' Tinkerbell. I love her in Hook. So, maybe she goes up a little bit because she was awesome in that movie. So we are passing the 2-hour mark. I am ready to sign off, Gabe. I'm not sure if you are as well, but we appreciate everyone checking us out in this live stream. Thank you so much for getting us to 20,000 subscribers. I don't think we said that yet. Thank you very much. You are all the best, and so many others that have been willing to push that button and watch our videos and comment and join the discussion. And even if, you find us in the comment section and we disagree on a matter or two, we still appreciate you watching. We always want you to come back and join the conversation with us. But we appreciate all the comments. We appreciate the super chats. We appreciate everything. I'm going to sign off. Gabe, what do you want to say to our audience before we take off?
Guys, thank you again for joining us. Thanks again for helping us get to 20K. Much appreciated. Keep up the support. Stay safe in these crazy times. Stay social distancing. Stay indoors. And you guys know the tagline. As usual, we know all things.
You guys take care. I'm going to stay on just for a few seconds to answer some questions, but then that's pretty much the end of it. So you guys have a great Saturday and Sunday.